The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
CJ Mosley has announced his retirement from the NFL. The former All-Pro linebacker ends his career with the New York Jets. We'll talk about Mosley's career, and we'll talk about the state of the Jets linebacker room post-Mosley and much more. Matt O'Leary joins the show. It's a Thursday. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Thursday. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel before we bring on the great Matt O'Leary in his weekly spot. Quick reminder, for those of you that expressed interest in joining us at this year's AsManiac group outing, Jets-Panthers on October 19th, the Jets gave us a little extra time to still sell some more tickets to some AsManiacs. So if you want to join us, if you reached out, you weren't sure if you were able to go, you do have another week or so to lock in your spot, maybe a little longer. If you reach out, we could reserve one for you. But please, please, please click the link in the description. Lock in your ticket. We'll have info on the discounted group rate for the tailgate with Tailgate Joe and Lot E26. A photo on the field after the game. We do still have a couple of field passes left. So if you're a Jet fan who wants to bring your family or bring your friends to our group outing this year, make sure you lock in your spot before the deadline passes sometime next week. With that said, let's say hello right now to the great Matt O'Leary, who joins the program. Matt, happy Thursday, and the end of the line for CJ Mosley. We knew he was not going to be on the Jets this year. I think the question with him, is he going to play anywhere else? And on his 33rd birthday, he says, I'm out. He retires after 11 years in the NFL, including spending the same amount of time, if you think about it, with the Jets as he did the Ravens, 5 seasons with each team. He didn't play in 2020, so CJ Mosley played the same amount of time with the Jets as he did the Baltimore Ravens, which just saying that out loud feels a little weird.
Yeah, it definitely does, right? Like, I think, perfect split down the middle. Technically was with the Jets longer because he didn't play in 2020. But, we were saying before we got on the air here, just hell of a career. Awesome New York Jets. Started a little rocky right after in 2019, gets hurt in the first game after looking like the best linebacker of all time for 3 quarters. He was awesome in that week 1 game against Buffalo, and then comes back and ends up being a major reason why this Jets defense had the turnaround that it did in 2022 and 23. He'll be missed. I kind of had that reaction after the Jets decided to cut him. Thought it was probably the right call just based off, all the injuries. He has back issues and a neck, and I can't really say I'm all that surprised that he's hanging it up, but, he goes out on his terms and he deserves it.
CJ Mosley, it started rocky, right? You brought up that first game. For the first 3 quarters, I mean, he was Lawrence Taylor out there. It was insane what he was doing. And then obviously he gets hurt. He's never right when he does try to come back later that year. And then he sits out all of 2020. He comes back in 2021. And while that team wasn't any good, he was always a great leader. He was voted team MVP that season. And you're spot on. The last couple of years, he had a lot to do with the defensive turnaround. And he's just a good guy, man. I'm rocking the CJ Mosley jersey. I wish that he got to experience more success with the Jets because there are so many, just really good dudes that have been on the team the last couple of years. And I feel like he was at, the forefront. No one has a bad thing to say about CJ Mosley. I have a firsthand experience with him as well. He was nice enough to come on the YouTube show about a year and a half ago at the Super Bowl. And he could not have been nicer both on and off the air. So I wish CJ Mosley all the best. And I think the fact that he is retiring at age 33 and he's not playing anywhere else, I think if he wants to do something with the Jet organization, whether it be coaching, whether it be something in alumni relations,
I think everyone there would welcome him back because, once again, you're not going to find anyone that has a bad thing to say about Mosley.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they bring him in as like a guest for training camp, kind of what they did with Nick Mangold, helping Chase Pittman with the snaps? Can Mosley come and just coach up the linebacker room? I mean, we know he's done a great job with both Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood, helping them get to the point where both of them are. And there's some question marks for the depth beyond that at the position, beyond the top two guys. But it would be awesome if he just has some role in the organization, even like we said, if it's, visits for a couple days in training camp and just helps out the staff. I'd be all in on that.
I mean, Mosley, you look at his career, man. I mean, he was a multi-time Pro Bowler, multi-time All-Pro linebacker. I mean, I think he almost became kind of like underrated the last couple of years because of all the talent on the Jets defense. But the one thing I always go back to, his impact is still being felt because you listen to Quincy Williams at the podium, you listen to Jamie Sherwood at the podium. As recently as last week before they broke for summer, both guys mentioning how they still stay in touch with CJ Mosley and they wouldn't be the players that they now are without him. So that to me is a sign of someone that if he wants to go into coaching, I mean, no brainer to bring him in, but he's made a lot of money in his career. So it's not like he needs the money. He'd have to truly love it and want to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And, for me, when I look at CJ Mosley's impact, especially towards the end, I know in the little we saw him this past year, he to me, he never really looked like right. I thought he was kind of playing through something pretty much the entire year. But even when the skill set started to go as he got older, he was such a smart football player and always putting himself in a good position to make plays. But I honestly felt like he was the brain of that defense. I know, and rightfully so. Sauce Gardner is a marquee guy on the defense, and Quinnen Williams, there's other big names, but I thought Mosley was really the brain of that unit, and they missed him a lot last year when he was hurt. I think they'll miss him this year, and hopefully, one of Quincy or Jamie Sherwood's ready to take that step up and be that leader on the defense.
100%. So I wanted to do something cool today. I know a lot of people are off work, of course, a lot of people watching. I wanted to do a giveaway, and originally I was going to do a completely different giveaway than the one we're going to do. But with CJ announcing his retirement, I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's do a signed CJ Mosley jersey giveaway. I got the jersey right here. It's actually in black. It's the Jets black jerseys that CJ proudly rocked during his time. So signed CJ Mosley jersey. We will raffle it off to one lucky listener at the end of the show. All you need to do is gift a channel membership or send in a super chat. We'll count the $5 super chats today, give people more of an opportunity to enter the raffle. But I want to start off with a massive super chat from JYB. $100. That's 20 entries in our raffle. If you enter for the Mosley jersey, you're also automatically entered in our weekly raffle, which this week features a Joe Namath signed football, Darrelle Revis signed football, Wayne Corbett signed jersey, and a Kevin Mawai signed jersey. Thanks to all the diehard Jet fans who are tuned in June. That's why we're doing all these awesome raffles as a thank you for your support. But JYB, thank you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't play this for you.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
He's in the raffle for 20. He writes in, happy retirement to the captain. I have never watched a game where a Jet linebacker was that dominant than his first game as a Jet. He will be missed. Also, keep up the good work, boys. Red Rockets unite. Love it, JYB. Thanks for the support, man. Look, he's right, though, right? The first three quarters of that Bills game, if he doesn't get hurt, they win that game. That's what's crazy. They don't have that epic collapse where we find out afterwards that Darnold's playing that game with mono, oh, by the way.
Yeah, that was really a wild game, and blowing that was really frustrating. I think set the tone for the Adam Gase era in a negative way. But watching it was a really big signing. They gave him a ton of money. They completely reset the linebacker market. And I think the consensus at the time, if memory serves correct, is Mosley's like a really good player, but is he going to be worth that contract that he got? And then he comes in and was unbelievable. I agree with JYB. I know it was a small sample and only essentially a half or three quarters that he played in that game. He was unbelievable. He was all over the field making plays in the run game, in the pass game. Looked like an absolute star, and I was so excited to watch him the rest of that season. And unfortunately, he was taken away. I believe he tried to come back in that see and ghost game against the Patriots, but didn't really look right. Never really played again that year. Sat out in 2020, so he was a forgotten guy, as we discussed in the beginning of his Jets career, but ended up being a really, really good New York Jet, and I'll remember him fondly.
100%. I just wish he got a chance to win more, man. Another player that was here, did all the right things, said all the right things, great leader, and just didn't get to experience any winning. So hopefully that changes for the players that are currently here. And if Sherwood is here long term, they signed him. Well, I think we'll continue to remember the fact that CJ Mosley mentored him and helped him become the player that he was. Because remember, when you talk about the current linebackers, Jamie Sherwood's a guy who was a converted safety, and Quincy Williams was a waiver wire pickup. So both guys had to be mentored and tutored by Mosley. He had a lot to do with them getting better. They'll tell you that themselves if you talk to them, and they've said so publicly.
Yeah, 100%, right? And interesting path for both Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood getting to the New York Jets, and both getting paid by the Jets. Quincy Williams was like on the outs in Jacksonville. He's a mid-round pick, ends up getting, waived, and the Jets pick him up. And, there were some splashy plays the first couple of years, but once he really hit his stride in 2023, he became a completely different player. And then, Jamie, they drafted him, as you mentioned, a safety, and their plan was to move him to linebacker. It took a few years, but finally he got the opportunity to play a lot more in 2024, and he was racking up tackles left and right. So hopefully, for Sherwood, he takes another step forward after getting a nice payday. But yeah, I think in addition to the coaching staff, which Robert Saleh, to his credit, has done a really good job of developing defensive players, but specifically linebackers. That's really his bread and butter. It's not just the coaching staff, though. The player in CJ Mosley had a lot to do with it, too. So while liking and thanking the Jets for Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood, you got to also thank our guy, CJ Mosley.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Eli with a super chat. Have a great show, Jake. Eli, appreciate your support as always. You are in our CJ Mosley signed jersey raffle at the end of the show for 2. Darth Crypto writes in, CJ will be missed. Amen. Julian with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 1. We're counting the $5 ones today on the show. Happy retirement for the captain. Shame we couldn't get him a playoff appearance, but got my tickets to Jets Cowboys with my dad for Father's Day. LFG Jets. Hey, that's a good game to go to, and Jet fans better show up because the Cowboys fans are everywhere in the New York area. So if the Jets are bad by then, it's gonna be a lot of Cowboys fans there. So I'm glad that Julian's going representing the Jet fan base.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to go to. Hopefully, it's more like the 2019 game that the Jets had against Dallas.
Oh, the Sam Darnold or Robbie Anderson game.
Love it. That was I thought Sam was going to be the franchise quarterback after that game.
Me too. Jamal Adams had that play at the goal line against Dak.
Yeah, that's right. Good call out.
Good times. Good times. Man. Oh, being a Jet fan's tough. Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats. Congrats again to CJ Mosley on an awesome career. And I've reached out to CJ Mosley's representative to try and get him back on the show. So we'll see what comes of that. So stay tuned for maybe a CJ Mosley post-retirement interview. How about a huge shout out to Jenergy? She's dropping a 50 burger. She is in the raffle for 10 with this. Jenergy, you are the best.
We are mama way.
CJ Mosley was a true leader on and off the field, giving him his flowers. Congratulations and thank you to number 57. P.S. I won his signed trading card at your draft party, and I have it displayed on my office desk. Hey, that's awesome, Jenergy. I'm glad that I don't even remember who won all the prizes we gave away at the draft party. There were so many, but I'm glad that you're the one who got the Mosley card. That's awesome. And by the way, for those who are into sports memorabilia, all the CJ Mosley stuff I saw online, price increase. So I got in early to secure this signed jersey for the AsManiacs later this show. Thank you again, Jenergy. Appreciate it. Comments, questions, super chats. Eli says, are we putting CJ in the Ring of Honor? I don't think so. He was a really good Jet, but they didn't have the playoff success with him. If Mo Lewis is not in the Jets Ring of Honor, then I don't think CJ Mosley will be in there. David Harris is not in the Ring of Honor either, to my knowledge, right?
No, I don't believe so. Great player. I don't think I'd put him in the Ring of Honor, though. If they ended the playoff drought and he was a big part of that, I could see the argument a little bit more, but I don't think he's going to get the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think if you're Ring of Honor, you got to be like an unquestioned all-time Jet player.
Yeah, and again, like Mosley, great, but what's the bar? I think the bar should probably be a little bit higher than CJ Mosley.
I mean, if you look at the Ring of Honor, right? I mean, like we're talking about guys that played the vast majority of their career with the Jets. With Mosley, it's split. And if they didn't play the vast majority of their career with the Jets, you had to be just utterly dominant if you were going to get in the Ring of Honor. So I think it's tough.
Yeah, I have the list right here. It's Eubank, Winston Hill, Klecko, Martin, Mawai, Maynard, Namath, and Revis.
Yeah.
So that's another level.
The Brickishaw Ferguson is not in there?
I
think he is in there.
He is. Yeah, that must be an older list. He's in there too. You're right. DeBrick is in there. Jets
Worldwide says we could put CJ in the Asmaniac Ring of Honor. Absolutely.
Yes.
Great friend of the show. What do we got here? Anything else on CJ Mosley? Write it in. We'll bring it up. Reminder, if you now call the show now until training camp, it's another way to get a raffle ticket that applies for both daily raffle and for our weekly raffles. As another thank you to all the diehards who are tuned in to Jets content here in June. We're talking with Matt O'Leary in his weekly spot on the show. So anything Jet related, write it in. Mickey with a super chat. He says Blake Cashman and Frankie Louvu are two good linebackers in the league and learn from Mosley too. It's a good point. Blake Cashman always was impressive, and then he'd get hurt. Like he would fall out of bed and get hurt and be on IR. Like that was the problem. But he ended up being a really good player. Same with Frankie Louvu, which is the problem was these guys, for one reason or another, didn't have staying power with the Jets when they were here.
Yeah, Cashman's, you nailed it. It was injury. If you go back and scroll through the list of injuries that he had with the New York Jets, it was actually insane. And good for him. Like he's been in a couple different spots. He was in Houston, right? And
yeah, he was
Minnesota too. He's become, a nice little player there. And Louvu, yeah, he's another guy that I believe Carolina and Washington after leaving the New York Jets, and another guy who's carved out a nice career.
100%. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Matt, I want your take on what Aaron Glenn's first year ultimately will be defined by. We've been batting this around on the show, playing different opinions from those in the Jets universe. Like, what would you define as a successful year one for Aaron Glenn?
I don't know if there's like a definite win total that he has to hit for me to call it a success. I think a lot of it's going to be eye test, but I would just like to see them take a tangible step forward. They're a 5-win team last year. Things really went off the rails for them a year ago, but I think even if they win like 7 games, there's a path to that being a successful year. Are they getting blown out in their losses? Are they, keeping close with the Ravens, the Bills, Cincinnati, teams that no one really gives the Jets a chance in? Are there a few upset wins? How do they look in the division? How does he look as a head coach and the coaching staff look in comparison to some of their competition in division? Those are really going to be things that I'm looking for. And again, I don't know if that necessarily is like a win-loss record number, but more so just eye test wise, does it feel like the Jets are going in the right direction?
How do you feel about Glenn so far? What type of impact do you think he's had on the organization?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Aaron Glenn. I think I really like the intensity that he has. That's the word that I keep going back to. It just feels like there's a different intensity level with Glenn, whether it's, him out on the practice field walking around or his press conferences and some of the quotes that he has. Again, it's got to translate onto the field, but I don't question the buy-in from the players. And, as a former player himself, I think he's able to relate to these guys saying, hey, I went through it. It might be a long time ago now that I did it, but, he had a really good NFL career. And I think he's really well respected, not only in the Jets building, but around the league. So I'm pretty optimistic about Aaron Glenn as a coach.
I want your take on something that was said on New York radio this past week. Alan Hahn of the New Afternoon Show on 880 ESPN New York was reacting to some minicamp press conference audio from Aaron Glenn, and he had a strong take on Glenn. I want to play it for you. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll get your take.
Aaron Glenn asked about minicamp attendance.
Is everyone here on the roster?
You tell me.
I mean, it looked like everyone's here.
There you go.
Okay. On the culture.
Culture is all about people. So you bring the right people in the building, that determines what kind of culture you're going to have. Now, listen, I give the guys before this regime, before we got here, credit because listen, we don't have any just bad guys. I think we have a bunch of good guys on this team. So I give those guys a lot of credit for the guys they have here. So now our job is to make sure we steer them in the right direction, the way that we want to play football, the way that we want to operate, the way that we want this building to be. And to me, that's what culture is. And
I just want to say this.
Go ahead.
I want Aaron Glenn to be the best coach they've had since Bill Parcells. Okay, that's what I want.
Nice thought.
That's what I want. And his connection to Bill Parcells makes me believe he should be successful. And I loved him as a Jet. So all these things are now separate from what I'm about to say. He needs to drop the act now. Please don't address the media as if they're players. Don't do this. Don't go to the podium. And I know that's probably how he sounds when he talks to the players. This is how he's very direct. Right. And that's exactly how you should talk to your players. Don't do this with media. When you're asked a question like, are all the players here today? Are all the players on the field? Don't ask me what I think or what I saw. I'm asking you for a reason, not because I'm a moron and I can't count. I need you to say it. Like, he needs media training. Aaron Glenn needs media training right now because this can go the wrong way fast. Wow. This is all fun in games. This is great in preseason. This is great in training camp. But when we get to the season and your team loses a game or two, this act gets tired fast. And you're not going to like the questions you're going to get. So he needs to understand that when you go to the podium, the simplest thing you do is just answer the question and keep it moving. Don't play this game of like, now you're my players and I'm going to tell you how. No. I'm asking you for a reason. I don't need you to start lecturing me and treating me like I'm one of your minions. I'm not. I'm a guy writing a story or covering your team with information that I need from you. And a lot of times it's your voice I need because I know who's here. But I need you to say it because it's more important when the head coach addresses it. So please stop talking that way at the podium. Thank you.
Strong. Your thoughts, Matt?
I think it was a little bit of an overreaction. I like Alan Hahn, but I think that was a little bit of an overreaction. And I don't think it's an act with him. I just think that's how he is. That's, maybe he's a little bit short or a little abrupt with how he speaks, but I think I view it as authentic, and maybe he doesn't. And I think the coach should be true to himself and should be his authentic self up there. I don't think every guy has to be, Robert Saleh trying to be buddy with the media or like Rex. And I don't know. Again, it's going to come down to wins and losses on the field, how he's viewed. But I think he could just be himself up there. So I don't really have an issue with it. What was your take on it?
Yeah, to me, when Allen says drop the act, I would agree if I thought it was an act. I just think that's who Glenn is, right? I don't think he's fooling or trying to fool anyone. I think he's being authentically himself. That's my big thing. Like, I don't think he needs media training. He's played in this market. He's been a successful coordinator. He's been around really good coaches. Like, I think he understands what is going on here with the Jet organization. I think he understands the job he took and what comes with it. So the people that have been there every day, the reporters that have been covering him on the beat, they like it. They think that he's been authentic. They're like, if we ask a bad question, he could call us out on it. That's fine, because we're obviously going to be critical of him if there's things that cause to be critical. So I have no issue with it. I don't think it's an act at all. I think Aaron Glenn is being himself. If he wasn't being himself, I understand it. The one thing with Allen's criticism that I do understand, though, if he's combative after every loss with reporters on questions, even if the question's dumb, the fans will turn on him because he's going to be like, dude, you care more about the questions you're being asked than the team losing to the Bills, the team losing to this team. So, like, that aspect, I agree, but I think Glenn knows that, and he's not going to pick a battle after every game with a reporter, even if they ask a dumb question,
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The context of these questions, I think, is going to be important on how he answers them. But I mean, he's played here. I don't really know if he needs media training. I'm sure that after losses, he's been asked questions before as a player, and we were pretty young when he played for the Jets, but I don't remember there ever being a story of Glenn was short with the media as a player, and it caused this whole big thing. So it's not really something that I'm worried about. But like you said, and like he said, if they lose to Buffalo and he's being short with Rich Cimini for the 75th time, maybe it does get old.
Gerald Stan became a channel member himself. He's gifting his own membership in the raffle. Let's go, Gerald. Appreciate your support. Got you down for one. For those tuning in late, in honor of CJ Mosley announcing his retirement, we're going to give away a signed CJ Mosley jersey at the end of the stream. So gift the membership to be eligible for your chance to win that. Let's get to some calls now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Live to the nudist colony we go. Charleston Jetsrube is up first. Hello, Charleston.
Hey guys, how are you, Matt? Nice to see you. Thanks
How's
for
the
coming
colony?
on. Always like all your stuff.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. I wasn't here for the first 15 minutes, but what about CJ the coach?
Yeah, we
Is that a
discussed it.
possibility? Okay.
Look, if he wants to do it, all the power to him. You know, I'm sure the Jets would love to have him back as a coaching intern and kind of give him a start. We saw Nick Mangold stop by training camp last year and help out Joe Tippmann. Like whatever role he wants, if it's in something to do with coaching, I could see the Jets welcoming CJ back. I don't know what he wants to do, right? I mean, he just turned 33 today. He's made a ton of money in his career. Maybe he wants to do something away from football now. I don't know.
Ultimately, I'd love to see him be a linebacker coach for us. I think that'd be awesome. He's such a great guy. As far as Aaron Glenn and outside of wins, what I think would make him a successful coach, I think the two most obvious things are the horrible in-game management that Saleh. I mean, I honestly don't remember Adam Gase's in-game management, but it couldn't have been any worse than Saleh. And then the stupid damn penalties. Those two things I am so sick of, that if those two things can get cleaned up, to me, that's a successful first season. But love you guys. Appreciate taking my call. Jake, as always, love you, bud.
How's the colony today?
You know, it's good. The thing that I've realized, you always talk about getting an iPhone, but I had an Android for years, and I recently got an iPhone, and the heat that I've been experiencing, my iPhone just breaks down after not too long, man. My Android never did that.
Well, you never had pockets on you, so you're just walking around in the nude all the time. Your phone's going to get exposed.
When I called you yesterday from the pool, I had to put it in the cooler to cool it down every couple minutes to make sure, and I still only got about 3 minutes before Underwater Robot came to life again.
Well, enjoy the pool today, Charleston. Send our best to all the nudists there.
All right. Thanks, bud.
You get the fuck out.
That was great.
More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we're going to get a medical update from this caller. Ladies and gentlemen, it's PBM time.
Purple about Mike, he loves the dark night. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
That's so funny. I love it. No update yet. I didn't get the results, so I'm still waiting to see.
For those who missed it yesterday, Mike wrestled a bear and he might have really messed up his knee.
Oh no.
Nope. It's not what happened.
Well,
we
we're
can
pulling for you.
Yeah. It's I have to keep this ace bandage on it to keep the fluid out. But it's got some coloration over here, so that's usually not a good sign either, but we'll see.
We're thinking about you.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's better news, but the initial testing showed PCL. So, but we'll see what the MRI says.
What does your wife think of having to take care of her cripple?
She's not thrilled that she has to mow the lawn later.
Oh, no.
She's like, I haven't mowed the lawn in 3 years. This sucks.
Wow.
I'm like,
What do you think? What do you think Gary thinks of that?
I don't know. Gary's probably mad at me for not using one leg to mow the lawn.
Probably.
Yeah. But Jets question. So what do you think? I mentioned yesterday about Clemens, if he can make a leap, which I don't think it's possible. But on that same token, what player do you think is going to really have a good year that no one's like talking about? Because everyone says like Arian Smith could be wide receiver 2 or whatever, but who can be like an unsung hero that could have a good year that really contributes to help us out?
An unsung hero. That's a good question, man. I'll let you go first.
Maybe Jamal Pritchett as a special teamer, like as a return guy. Maybe he's the new punt returner and has a little bit of juice there. I feel like that maybe could be an under the radar guy.
You think he can make the team over Gibson, or you think they both would make it?
I think it'd be over Gibson, just because he's pretty much just a returner at this point. He didn't really play a ton of receiver last year, and I don't think he did a great job as a punt returner, so I wouldn't be surprised if Banjo's looking for an upgrade.
Any chance that Donovan Edwards could be a returner? Or no?
I don't know if he's done it in college. I genuinely don't know.
I don't know if he ever did that in Michigan either. I have to look into that.
I was just thinking,
I mean, if you're staying with running backs, I mean, you could pick either Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis because I think one of them could emerge with a real role in this team with Brees.
Has either of them taken like the official number 2 spot, or there's nothing there listed?
No,
either?
I think that's a training camp type of thing.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Well, feel better, Mike.
Yes.
I'm in good spirits.
PKM, purple knee, Mike. I guess what, Mike? I know what you're waiting for. So I'm going to play it.
Purple about Mike, he loves the dark night. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Yeah. All right. Great comment here from Genergy. She says, Lord, I'm so out of the loop missing shows. If you miss a show around here, you miss a lot. All right. You never know what could happen.
I know. I feel like I pop in weekly for my spots, and there's so many updates throughout the week, whether it's a job search or someone gets injured. There's always something going on in the Jake Asman world.
Yeah, and yesterday was the latest saga in the 6 Rings versus the chat. So if you missed it, here's what went down yesterday, Matt, when 6 Rings, noted Patriot fan who knows nothing about the Patriots, called back into the show. Enjoy the hole. How does it feel?
Like it here.
No, you don't. I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to bring in the enforcer.
You know who I am, you son of a bitch? Don't talk to me like that. I don't know who you are. Hey, you sit down and you shut the fuck up, number one. This is Jets territory. Jets.
Like
Shut up when I talk to you. Do you understand me? You're not going to push me around. You're not going to push the Asmaniacs around. I'm the goddamn enforcer. You better recognize me, boy. If you don't take that jersey off right now, I'm going to kick your ass right now. You understand the right to bear arms, buddy. We're getting that in Canada soon. I don't give a crap about Canada right now. This is America, Jack. Take that jersey off and wipe your ass with.
Now look what you've done, 6 Rings. You fake Pats fraud. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut you off and cast you out with the sodomites. Some time in here will make you feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. This is America, Jack. Well done, Beast. Way to get his ass.
There it is. That's the first one that hurt my ribs.
What a moment. What a moment.
Beast is truly one of a kind. That was an all-time rant from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right after we hit on a couple super chats here. Sam says, if Alan Hahn doesn't like it, stay home. Is he upset there are no leaks? I mean, look, Aaron Glenn, you said something earlier, man, and I've said this too. No one's going to care how he is at the podium if he wins games. He's got to win games. That's it. Like, Saleh was super nice. But guess what? He didn't win enough. So ultimately, he got fired because of that, not because he wasn't good at press conferences.
Yeah, it's all about the wins and losses. You think maybe just going to bat for his guy, Rich Cimini, who's also an ESPN guy?
Ooh, I like that. It's funny because Rich likes Glenn. He wrote that you could say that one could say that Glenn's won the offseason. Like, Rich doesn't mind those back and forths because he knows Glenn. Like, he covered him as a player. Like, they have that relationship.
Yeah, I like it. It's as long as he's okay with it, because it feels like every single press conference, Aaron Glenn is going at Rich Cimini for something.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining for what it's worth. Love it. James says, great show as always. Thank you, James. I got you down in the CJ Mosley signed jersey raffle at the end of the show for one. Daz with an Asmaniac super chat. 6 Rins needs to quit whilst he's behind. He's an embarrassment. The enforcer destroyed his back doors. I'm from the UK and looked into my team. Fraud. Yet 6 Rings didn't understand why the chat doesn't like him. I'm like, dude, you called into a Jet YouTube show wearing nothing but Patriot gear, and his first call into the show was saying, you see that Tom Brady jersey behind me? It's worth more than your franchise. And then got ripped for that. Tried to call back in and apologize. Didn't understand why people haven't forgiven him. And then also was exposed by Purple Belt Mike, who asked him like basic trivia about his team, and he didn't know any of the answers. So he's just a bandwagoner who didn't understand anything about the team he claims to root for.
Fraud. That is the exact definition of a fraud.
Sad. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to Israel. Are you ready, Matt? Jason in Jerusalem is up next. Jason, set the scene for us. What's happening there?
Oh, man, the Zach Wilson jersey didn't work last night or this morning. I'm thinking of moving to a Ryan Pulak memory of Game 4 and that amazing ending
There
he
we
had.
go. The
Shout out.
40th anniversary of that today. Good call
4-year
out.
anniversary, one of the greatest Isles games. That whole series was amazing. I mean, other than Game 5 where they shit the bed, but that's another story.
Today's the anniversary of the Beauvillier goal at the Coliseum.
No, that was Game 6.
Yeah, game 4, Ryan Pullock, where he saved the puck.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you had all those memes of the hurricane coming to New York with Pulak, stopping it, things like that. Anyway, feel better, CJ. It's a shame that your term with the franchise went the way that it did. You're a good guy, and forever in our hearts as a Jet. Everybody might remember you as a Raven. And that's where your good years were. But I mean, that first game in Buffalo against Buffalo, that home opener, you were a beast until you got injured, and then sitting out the COVID year, which was your right, and I respect you for it. But that took another year out of your prime from us, and it's a shame. We constantly think about what if. You'll forever be one of the what ifs in Jets history.
Yeah, there's a ton of what ifs.
Yeah, tons of them. But I mean, we saw glimpses of it, and we knew that he had it. It wasn't like a rookie what if. What if he developed like a Mark Sanchez what if? Mosley could do it. He was a Pro Bowler. So that's different in my book.
Jason, I'm going to let you run because the wind is picking up there. But stay safe, and we're thinking about you. I don't know if you saw this tweet making the rounds, but this was an all-timer.
I did. I saw another video of a song about bombing Iran, and the kid in it was wearing a Zach Wilson jersey too. So there's a couple versions of Zach Wilson, but that is an all-time beat, no matter how you slice it.
It's just amazing that somehow it always comes back to the Jets.
It always does. It doesn't make sense, but it always does.
Like it's incredible. No matter what, somehow there's a Jet tie. Like even of course, it's Jeff Ulbricht's kid that is calling Shador Sanders and pranking him. Like somehow the Jets still had to be involved even in that.
If Ulbrich was still with it was a huge story, but if Ulbrich was still with the Jets, it would have been 10 times bigger. Like we'd still be talking about that, I feel like.
You'd have people demanding like Woody Johnson to sell a team for that.
Yes.
It's amazing. It just, man, Zach Wilson, I mean, the discourse online was a bit of a war zone, so maybe it's a little fitting here.
It is.
Stay safe to all the Jet fans and everyone else in Israel right now. Comments, questions, super chats, reminder, you call in, you get a raffle ticket. We're going to give away a signed CJ Mosley jersey at the end of the show. Bang Mateo with a super chat. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to assume it's negative. Here we go. Bowers had no QB and had a better wide receiver season than Wilson. Okay, so now somehow we're going to slam a Garrett Wilson today. Stop with the Brock Bowers, all right? Let's add some nuance and context, right? Garrett Wilson was having a better year than Brock Bowers, and then the Jets added Devontae Adams. Like, that happened. And regardless, Bowers can be awesome, and so is Garrett Wilson. So I don't know what the point of this is, right? Like, are we trying to sit here and be like, oh, Travis Kelce's had better years than Garrett Wilson too? Like, cool, man. Garrett Wilson's awesome. He wants to be a Jet. They should pay him. I don't know what's so complicated about that.
The only other weapon the Raiders had was Jacoby Myers too. So it was the Brock Bowers show the whole second half of the year. That's when he really hit that stride. And good call out with, after the Jets acquired Devontae Adams, it was a lot of Rodgers' targets were going to Devontae, and the target share for Garrett went way down in the second half. So, I mean, yeah, that's what's going to happen when you have two wide receivers like that.
Jason in Jerusalem, Jason Picker gifting a membership. Jason, you're in the raffle. Stay safe and good luck. It might be the second jersey I have to send to Israel after Jay in Israel won a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey the other day. John with an AsManiacs super chat. Thank you, John, for supporting the show. Salute to the captain, my captain, CJ Mosley. Never got enough love from the Jet fandom. CJ was a cornerstone piece and should be remembered as such. I don't know. I think by the end of his career, he was appreciated.
Yeah, I think it took a little while for Jet fans to get around on that. It started weird. Like I said, only that really one game in 2019. And then in 2020, he wasn't there for the 2-14 season. And wasn't there a picture of him in a bar in Alabama or an Applebee's or something like that during one of the Jets blowouts? I feel like that's something that's creeping into my memory.
Was there? I don't remember that.
I feel like there was. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat could either confirm or deny that one, but that is coming to memory right now for some reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. A man by the name of Joey Jet is on the line. Hello, Joey.
Hey, what's up, Jake and Matt? First time I'm on a call with you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Joey.
You see, I got my proper attire on today.
Nice.
Couple things. Number one, congrats to CJ Mosley on a hell of a career. You know, I know he missed the first 2 years because of injury and COVID, but man, when that man was healthy and was out there, he was legit. So you know, I wish him well on the rest of his career, whatever it is he wants to do. I'm sure he's going to do well at it. But I want to thank him for what he did with the Jets. It wasn't his fault that we couldn't get to the playoffs. Also, Beast, way to go, man! Dealing with that garbage ass Patriots fan. I love seeing it. That reporter and his whine fest about AG answering his question, dude, shut up. You know, nobody cares. Okay, coaches are going to say what they're going to say, especially a guy coached by Parcells. And last thing, Jake, me and my father wanted to go to the meetup in Tampa that you're having. Where can I get info about that?
Tampa. So I could verbally tell you all the info right now. You can always email me too, Joey Jet. But if you need hotels and if you need ticket links, all that is on my Patreon and Discord. Join the Discord. Get on Patreon. You'll see we have a whole tab of everything. But for everyone who's making that trip down to Tampa, I teamed up with the Jet Fan Club down in Tampa. We got 2 awesome events. Tailgate on game day. You can see the info on the screen here. Or just take out your phone and scan the QR code top right. And then the night before, we got a party set up at Gaspar's patio bar and grill in Tampa. So it's going to be a great party the day before. So all the info is on my Patreon and Discord.
Excellent. I'll go ahead and get on there. I live in Miami and my dad lives in Orlando. So, you know, we're both within driving distance. So we're probably going to go up there on Saturday, you know, stay at a hotel Saturday night and then go to the game on Sunday. Are you guys going to have a section in the stadium where Jet fans are going to be? Should I concentrate on getting tickets to that section if you guys have that?
We have some group tickets left, I believe. As of yesterday, we did. I haven't checked in with them today for Tampa. And that's also on the Patreon too and Discord. But that's exclusive. The discounted group tickets, that's a perk for Patreon people. So join that and you'll get all the info.
Okay. Will do. I guess the only last thing that I want to say is I'm interested to see how much of an impact do you guys think Mason Taylor could have? Could you think he could have 50 catches, 500 yards this year?
I think that's probably a fair rookie year. Good call, Joey. I talked about this yesterday on the show with Dylan Terraman. To me, look at what Dustin Keller did as a rookie. That's right around that. I think that's a fair expectation. I think that's maybe what I hope his floor is. And if he gives you more than that, I think you feel really good about him going forward.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be third in the pecking order for receptions for the Jets. I think it's Garrett 1, Brees 2, and then Mason Taylor there. I'm thinking between 50 and 60 catches, 500 to 600 yards, and maybe 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns. And in year 1, I think that's good. And then you want to see him take a step forward from there, right? I don't know if he's ever going to be an 1,000-yard guy every single year in his prime. It'd be nice, but that's not really my hope, I think, or expectation. It's my hope, but it's not my expectation. I think he's just going to settle into being a 600 to 800-yard guy, which Jets haven't even had someone like that in a long time. So I would take it.
The Rooster just sent in a $2 super chat, and now he figured out how to send in a $5 super chat. First comment. I will be betting over 1,000 rushing yards for Josh Fields. I will find a market. That is a chicken lock. Are you familiar with a player on the Jets named Josh Fields?
No, that's new to me. I don't know a Josh Fields.
I know a Justin. Maybe that's his cousin.
Oh,
brother.
Okay. I didn't realize they both were on the team.
Well, Rooster, you let us know who Josh is, and we will firmly be able to understand what you're asking us. If you're asking about Justin Fields, it's not crazy. I mean, he has done it before, but I do think if he has to run for that many yards, I don't know. I'd be concerned about durability at that point. Like I want him to have a big season rushing, but I also want the team to be able to run the hell out of the ball with Brees, Braylon, and Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, 1,000. It's possible he's done it before, but that's not where I would think he is. I
That's
think
a lot of yards.
I'm gonna say between 700 and 800, which is still a lot for a quarterback, but I think we're gonna see more Brees and one of Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. So I think that eats into some of the yards and rushes for Justin Fields.
Frank P with a $20 super chat. Jake asked Beast if he wants the Fields jersey I won yesterday for destroying ringdings. If he doesn't, you can re-raffle it or whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank P yesterday won a Justin Fields jersey on the show, and he is about to potentially donate it to Beastbreaker 666 if Beast wants it. The only way to find out if Beast wants that Justin Fields jersey is to ask the man himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Beast? Beast?
I can hear you. I'm not that deaf. I can hear you. I'm not deaf, yo. So, I'll tell you what. You got yourself a deal, kid. But in the words of Ed O'Neill, as he said from Little Giants, the movie, you'll thank me tomorrow.
So that's a yes. You are accepting the Justin Fields jersey.
Correct. Mundo, je ne sais quoi.
All right, Beast. What size Justin Fields jersey should I order for you?
2XL, please. Thank you very much. And now let's roll. Let's roll along. I don't want to feel like I'm intruding because
you're not intruding.
The great Matt O'Leary is here, who is a great Mets fan. Same with me and many others as well.
I thought you were a Red Sox fan.
Hey. There are years I keep in my history books. I always keep a history book on me of everything that I've done since I was a kid. So
wait, you actually have a physical copy of this history book?
It's all up here. All you gotta do is use your head, not your shoe size. And always remember, follow the mind. Follow your mind.
I want to follow your mind, Beast. Can we go inside your mind?
My mind is made of different things in life. It's because we grow up. Here's the thing. You're born, you grow up, you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a great job, you get married, you grow old, and then you go. That's the way the world works. Everybody has its differences in life. Some people go in their 80s, some go in their 90s, some go in their 60s and 70s. But you know what? I think I'm going to make a good life because right now I'm doing a good thing. Positivity is the best in the world. And we're going to keep it that way.
Make sure you thank Frank for the Justin Fields jersey.
And Frank P. El muchos gracias, el señor. Roots. You should try buying one of these, Jake. These kind of waters.
A water bottle?
No, read the same logo.
Essential.
$1.50 for one of these.
Oh,
they're actually not that bad. I'll take this over Fiji any day of the week.
Beast, are you sure you're a 2X?
Always, amigo. Always.
Okay.
Now, don't ask. I'm having a little bit of a. You've seen these before. Twizzlers. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Hold on.
Hold on, my screen froze, Beast. We're stuck. It's just us three now.
All right. Control, Alt, and Delete. Try it again. Try it first. See what you can get. Control, Alt, and Delete. Try it.
And Villette says we call this segment Beastphilosophy.
Is this well, ma'am? I'm helping. Certain people out here. It's a job, not a requirement. It's called a job. Now,
how do you know M. Villette's a woman?
Use your head, not your shoe size. Come on now. I mean, come on. Come on, common sense. I mean, we didn't get bopped on the head 100 times with a stick. Jeez Louise, come on now.
Hey, Beast. Rick Kent says you're 5'7", 300 pounds. Is that right?
Wrong. Try 5'8", 252. double tough, double mean, and hard as a brick. Just like I did yesterday to that punk. I put him in his place, and what did he do? And what did he do after I made him crap his pants? He probably left the brown stain in his undies.
That's happened to you,
I'm
right?
talking about. Yeah, hey, I might not be the Andrew Dice Clay, but I am certain people. Greg Travis, John Fox, Billy Conley, Tim Allen, and also some of the other greats that I've watched over the years, like Jeff Foxworthy. These are men that
DD doesn't believe the 252.
And DD, you know what? If you don't know me, then here, take a ticket, get your monkey ass back in line like everybody else, and you can learn to in the words of sign language, learn to wait.
Rick Kent says, "Is he threatening to put me in my place? Bring it on."
No, thank you. Don't got time. I got time for Twizzlers. That's what I have a time for. Good stuff.
Jason wants to know, is the 252 in kilograms?
No, there's not, Mr. Picker. But be careful in Israel too. You got a lot of crazy stuff going on over there. Be careful over there.
Beast, you ever been to the Middle East?
No, but I've been doing my research and readings, and we're gotta be careful nowadays because we live in a weird world nowadays. Very weird. Yeah, it is. It's pretty weird. We got apps on our phones. We have different things in our lives. We're all
That's why the
growing
world's
up.
weird.
Later, we're all going to end up like this.
Like what?
I know I'm not. I'm not
Hey,
ready
Beast,
for that.
why don't we do this as a thank you to Frank for giving you the Justin Fields jersey he won? Why don't you give us a little Justin Fields dropping back and throwing to Garrett Wilson this season?
Oh, for the final. All right. Let's try something a little different called a HB lead into the right corner cross. 3, prepare yourself, line. I can run. Black 61. Black 61. You're ready. 3, 7, height. Yeah, baby. Good, baby. Come on, baby. That's how you do it. That's how you
I'm ready for football season now, man.
He should be the fullback at that size. Like you were saying, right? 5'8", 250. Line him up behind Justin Fields and let him clear a lane. I think he could do it.
One of the greats. Jason says all this media talk still better than the Manish era. Manish Mehta, man. God.
He was stalking Joe Douglas's kid at a Phillies game, right?
Was that I thought it was a Little League game. It could be a Phillies game.
Or that would be even worse if it was a Little League. God.
Yep. AD83. You're in the raffle for 2, AD. Appreciate you. Salute to Mosley, Class X, standout player. Is his career Hall of Fame worthy? Not first ballot, but eventually. I'd have to look at other linebackers and what their career accolades were. I mean, Mosley, he was an All-Pro. Let's see. He was a second-team All-Pro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5-time Pro Bowler. I feel like Hall of Fame, we're talking about guys that are usually first-team All-Pros at least once, if not twice. So I would say he's not a Hall of Famer, but very, very good player.
Agree. Very good. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to CJ Mosley. He was a really, really good NFL player. I don't think he's quite a Hall of Famer, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have any championships, which would maybe be a tiebreaker if it was close. So probably not a Hall of Famer, but Hall of Very Good is appropriate. All right, more calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. I need all of you out there to stop what you're doing, and you make a prediction right now. Inside or outside? Outside. He's on mute, though. We can't hear you, Clifton.
Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I was on the stairwell because I was outside and the phone got too hot because it's smoking hot outside. and then I went inside to the air conditioner, and I couldn't get the internet signal. Now I'm back on the patio. The trials and tribulations when the kids are home. One question. Why isn't Kyle Clifton in the Ring of Honor? That's what I want to know.
It's a good point. You should ask yourself that.
Yes.
Well, I've asked myself that a lot. I should be asking Woody that when I see him. That guy should be in the Ring of Honor for his curly locks alone.
I mean, his career with the Jets was 13 years, all with just them. He never played for another team, so you certainly could argue it.
And all he did was tackle people. So
true.
I don't know. I was traveling a little bit yesterday and wasn't able to catch the very end of the show. What are we going to do about this guy, Six Rings?
Man.
He obviously wants a home. He obviously has given himself barriers to finding a home here, but he keeps on calling in. I don't get it.
I don't understand why he keeps coming back for more pain. He doesn't grasp the idea of why he's not being accepted right away. He doesn't understand that the Patriots are the Jets' biggest rival. He just has no concept of that.
And now it would be tough for us to accept him as a Jet fan because, he's shown that he's a bandwagoner with the Patriots. So, he would kind of have to be on the sidelines for months and months, maybe just chiming in here or there until and being positive until we could possibly embrace him. I feel kind of bad for the guy because he obviously is looking for some community and sense of belonging, and I don't know that we can offer that to him. It's tough.
Not if he keeps calling in and he gets offended when people send him to the hole. He doesn't seem to understand that he's going to get sent to the hole a lot early on until the community accepts him, and then he'll adapt, I hope, but he doesn't seem to be getting it.
So what's up with O'Leary? Is he the hardest working man in show business? Was he on Connor's show last night?
I was on Connor's show, and then I did another podcast for my Islanders channel after that. I'm always trying to keep busy, Kyle.
That's great. I kudos to you for that. It's important to keep busy even during these, summer months. I just wanted to take a moment and just salute to CJ Mosley. He gave everything he had in the latter part of his career to us. The team wasn't ready to win. It's kind of a shame. He was great in the first few years out of the box. Injuries kind of sapped the latter half of his Jets tenure. But I'll always remember him positively and for having a positive impact on the team. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, great call. Enjoy the great outdoors. It's hot as hell today.
It is. Got to get outside and water the grass after this. This is my life now as a homeowner. I'm thinking all this rain last week. My first thought was, oh, that's going to be good for my lawn that I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm washed.
You're a homeowner. You're going to be a married man in November.
It's coming up quick.
A father potentially after that. I mean, wow.
This is growing up.
Unreal. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll do one more call with Matt, and then I'll stay on for the rest. Appreciate all of you tuning in today. We're going to do a CJ Mosley signed jersey giveaway at the end of the show, so enter if you want a chance to win that. Ladies and gentlemen, he promised he would call in today. It is time to say hello to a man who hails all the way from Vermont.
Well, I need to find Matt O'Leary. He's supposed to come on my show. I want his butt on a stick.
Jake, I'm sorry. I tried to call. I don't get my slide thing so I could call into StreamYard on my phone. Remember when I was in the hospital?
Yeah, it won't let you click the link from your phone?
Yeah, I didn't know what I'm doing. I did it in the hospital. See, that's where I am right now. I can't find it.
I can't really see it. It's kind of cut off. Scroll down. You don't see the pin link?
Pin link.
And go to the live chat. Make sure you scroll over to the live chat.
Bobby
was supposed to call us today.
Yeah.
Scroll down. I can't see. You gotta hold it a little higher to the camera.
Well, I can't even get to live chat.
All right. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna bore the audience to tears with this, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that. I was gonna call from outside.
All right. We'll figure it out. I'm excited for you to call in live from one of your famous walks.
Yeah. Hi, Matt O'Leary. How you feeling?
I'm doing great, Bobby.
It's been a long time since I saw you.
Yeah. Good to see you. How's everything?
Good, except my dumb eye. It's my
Charles ripped one in his eye. Look at his eye.
No, my eyelashes grow inside my eyelid, and it's great.
Oh,
conier. Yeah.
Feel better.
Yeah. Well, I have to go see a new doctor, Jake. I gotta see a new doctor. I have to wait.
Who's worse at their job, your doctor or your job coach?
Probably my doctor. Because he couldn't help me out. This other doctor, when I first had it, he stayed with me a whole week. He kept putting things in my eyes, and then he took care of me for a whole week, and it went away. This doctor is the one to take care of it.
Who's worse right now? Great point by JJ. Your doctor or the New York Yankees?
Probably the New York Yankees. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it, yeah, after yesterday lost. Today I gotta have a show at 1:00 for the Yankee game, and hopefully they at least win 1 out of 4.
If you do a show, don't do a second show later. We've seen what that does to your body. It's going to make your eye worse.
No, I'm not gonna do it because you go after me, because the game should be end at 4:30. You go on, then next shine is at 8:00 today. So
Thank you for permission to go live.
no, you usually go. I'm saying the game should be over by 4:30. That's what I'm saying.
And if it's not, it's okay. I'm talking about the Jets, not the Yankees.
No, I'm gonna stop the show if you go.
If it goes to extra innings, we're cutting it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll just drop off. I'll just drop off. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing anyway. So
I've tuned into your show, Bobby. You guys never actually talk about the Yankees for these Yankee watch parties.
Well, I tried to, but I tried to do like.
Yeah, but then you let Gary on, and he talks about
why
the 19th Amendment is the worst thing that ever happened.
Can't get a word in edgewise with him. Oh my God! I see what problems you have on your show with him.
Yeah, well, Gary's not a fan of the 19th Amendment. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Women should vote.
I agree.
Sure.
Matt, do you think women should vote?
Yes. Was this a talking point?
Gary believes that women should not vote, and if you don't have kids, you should not be able to vote.
That's free. He said that.
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
One vote per household.
More ridiculous than the woman. That's crazy.
I need clarification from Gary next time he calls in. Where does he stand on women and people without kids being allowed to vote in YouTube polls?
That's a good question. Good question.
Because I didn't hear Gary complaining about voting then during Asmaniac Madness when this community voted him to the Final Four.
Right. I agree with that. Definitely. Good call, Jake. Good call. See, Jake's smart.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it.
That's smart. I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't know what I called it from the hospital, remember?
But you didn't have the live chat open, Bobby. So why don't you do this? After this call, reopen up the YouTube app, click on my show, and make sure that you have the live chat open so you can see the comments, and then you'll know whether or not it's going to work because you'll see the link.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, sometimes I have not too good, the electronics sometimes.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day.
Perfectly in the hospital. Okay, have a good day, Matt and Jake.
Bye, Bobby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
Matt, thank you for joining. Wild show as usual. Appreciate you hopping on, and tell people, if they don't already know, where they can find you.
Thanks so much for having me, Jake. At Matt O'Leary NY on YouTube and across all social media. Talking New York Jets, even in the dog days of June.
It never stops, baby. Never. Enjoy the lawn.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be tuned in or listening. You'll keep me company as I water the grass. How's that sound?
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Matt O'Leary with us in his weekly spot. Make sure you guys subscribe to Matt. Does a great job covering the Jets. Daz with a super chat here. It's $20 in pounds. I think it's pounds, right? Is it pounds or euro? I always forget. I don't know. I was in London last year. I already forgot. But Daz, thank you as always, man. If Charles spends less time farting in Bobby's eye and more time reviewing his contact details, he'd be working by now. F6 rings. Daz, thank you. Mike Perez checks in. What's up, Mike? Got you down in the raffle. We're doing $5 super chats, counting for one ticket today for the show only. Get more people a chance to get involved. I know a lot of people are off from work today, so give people more of an opportunity. Here's the jersey, by the way. The CJ Mosley signed jersey at the end of the show. What I hate more than the Pats and their fans is a fake Pats fan. Disgusting behavior. I get it. It's very fraudulent. Also, it's pounds. Thank you, Franklin. Brian says Gary has the IQ of a marshmallow. John says Gary points all his viewers in the wrong direction. Peter Castro, he stinks. Rick Kent says Bobby's eye is bright red. His eye is somehow getting worse. That's why I'm like, why are you going to sit in front of your screen for 8 hours and do a bunch of shows? Crazy. Now, I believe Mikey Midnight is on the line, but we know how this goes. There's like a 30% chance of it actually working. It might even be lower. But when there's a will, there's a way, so we will try it.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
Mikey?
Jake, you hear me,
Mikey?
Jake? You hear me?
Mikey?
Yeah, right here, Jake. I see you.
I don't see you, Mikey.
You hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, I do hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, no, I had the camera on. The guy let me use the camera.
Put it back
takes a
on.
while.
Try again.
All right, I'll try again.
Let me bring in my tech guy. Beast, what do you think's happening here?
Go to Mikey. Do you have the StreamYard up?
Yeah,
Mikey,
it says StreamYard.
Okay,
You
go
hear me
down
now?
to go down to where go down to where it says stop cam and unmute that.
Unmute?
Yeah, unmute it.
Let's see. Okay, I'm trying. Let's try. I think I got it, hopefully. You think I got it?
I still can't see it there.
Yeah. What?
We lost you.
Oh!
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, it worked.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice job, Beast. That's why you're the
there
tech
you go,
guru,
Mikey.
baby.
Hey, Beast.
¿Qué pasa, amigo? How you doing today?
Good. I want to have you on your little Joey shirt, little Joey shirt, because I say
Well,
I like little
Joey. Whoa. I brought him out early this morning around 6 because we're gonna have a heat wave, and I gave him early morning playtime, early morning breakfast, everything early, and also I did my shopping as early as 8 a.m. because I'm not going to be out in that heat because I don't know how to have what I can a couple years ago.
Tell
not
him
having
happy
another
birthday. I didn't get to say
always.
happy birthday.
Hey, always, Mikey, always.
Happy birthday to little Joey. We all love Joey. He's
Yeah.
the biggest Jet fan, like Beach Breaker. Yeah. And the Jets going.
Did you see me crush 6 strings yesterday, Mikey?
Yeah, you put him in the body bag. Yeah.
And the words of the Undertaker.
He comes out.
The words of the Undertaker, as I've once said hundreds of times. 6 rings. You know.
Yeah, because the Undertaker. Yeah.
I am the Undertaker. Next time you play with me, you will find out that I'm not the last man you want to play with.
Yeah, I like that.
In peace.
Yeah.
Peace breaker.
What's new, Mikey?
You like that? Hey, Jake, I'll go ask my friend Lacani Monday. He's coming back from vacation. Actually, he wants to go with us to the Jets in Carolina.
I love it.
His brother lives in Brooklyn. Sean, you know Sean, right?
Yeah. Let's more Jet fans, the better at that event.
I have a lot of Jets fans in the hospital too.
There's Jet fans everywhere, baby.
And I think that you think we go win the Super Bowl? Yeah, all around the world.
This year we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
I was thinking me and you are buddies. We are buddies forever, right?
Of course we are,
Be
Mikey.
buddies forever. And yeah, I want to get a shout out to that guy Rick Ken and Addy in L.A. because it's hard to reach him sometimes. He works a lot because he works.
Yeah,
on
Rick
the
Ken and
pool.
Addison are awesome. They're great. They're great human beings. I've met them both.
They help Bobby a lot on his show. They really help Bobby on his show a lot.
They do. They do.
Like
Yep.
co-owner of the Bobby show. You should join Bobby's show. We could work on him too.
I always call on the Bobby
job.
show.
Bobby does a good job. But he's had to stay look up to everybody. Say, hey, we all love my show. Everybody like me. I don't look down and say, I have my next hat.
Well, you look down at the camera. Bobby's looking up at the camera. Usually, we can only see the top of his hat.
Yeah, but probably because his eye, he did it. I think. My friend is his eye. Say, guess what? My supervisor gave this to me.
I love it.
Great. And you think
we need a coach.
Yeah, I want to be the coach. They could give me $3 million. I'll get paid better than
You'll do it for only $3 million. That's a bargain.
I'm $30 million if he wants to give me a 30, and I could live in Burnson.
I'll do it for less than $1 million. How about that?
Yeah, me too. We could be coaching together.
Yeah.
And the Knicks go win the championship next year.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it together. It gonna be the Asman fans forever. We rock the United States Square Garden. What you gonna do when the Hulkster? Why are you and Jake Asman?
Yeah, let's go, Mikey.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Love it, Mikey. A couple people actually just emailed me. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Join the Discord. That's where the Tampa Bay info is. I will respond to your emails, though, after the show, for those of you that reached out about Tampa. Thank you to everyone who's on Patreon. Can't say that enough. Especially want to shout out recent Patreon users, Lou, Harold, Kareen. You guys are great. Thank you. Let's see. Devin has gifted a membership. If you call into the show, by the way, reminder, you get a raffle ticket now till the start of Jets training camp. A little listener appreciation during the slow times. Give people more chances to win some prizes. Because let's be real, I keep repeating this because it's true. Only diehard Jet fans are tuned into a daily Jet show during these weeks of June and early July. Devin got you down in the raffle. Let's see who got your gifted membership. I went to listener Ant-Man's. Appreciate it. Uno Jets, he's in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Uno. The best Jet show, period. Jake, you the man. Let's go, Jets. Uno, appreciate the kind words, man. You're here all the time, and I really, really appreciate that. Connor says, when I was filling in, I couldn't find Mikey's intro. I felt so guilty bringing him up the stage without an intro. So the Mikey intro, Connor, it's the first video on the Bobby/Beast custom tab. We have so many clips for each of them. We just combined them. And it's hard to find just Mikey because we only have one intro for him. So it's just the first one all the way up top. So next time you fill in, you now know where it is. And shout out to Connor, man. He did a great job the 2 times he has filled in for me. Boomtown says Beast might have propelled Mikey into this month's top 10 power rankings. Wow. Pat McAfee's tank top. Mikey, can you be Charles' job coach? Dude, Charles job coach. Don't get me started. Coach Mosk. The Jeff Obrick of job coaches. Devin with a super chat. I love how CJ always reps us on the field. Glad we were his last team. Love for AG to add him on staff. Thanks for the content in June. JETS. Thanks for giving me the ability to do content year-round, including in June. Devin, appreciate your support. Hope to see you at a game again this year. I do think it's pretty cool that CJ's retiring as a Jet. Now, I did see a report while we were doing the show from someone that covers the Ravens that there was mutual interest for CJ to sign a 1-year deal and chase a ring with Baltimore and end his career with the team that drafted him. But his neck wasn't 100% yet, so there were some concerns there. So that never happened. I mean, ultimately, he dealt with a neck and a back injury last year. He's 33. He's taking a lot of hits. I'm not surprised he's retiring. Islip Jet fan says, as we spoke the other day, maybe now we could bring number 57 back as a coach 1 week till summer vacation. Islip, if CJ Mosley wants to go into coaching 100%, I don't know if he does, though. I don't know what his interests are. I know he owns a restaurant or is a significant investor in a restaurant in the West Village in Manhattan that maybe I'll frequent this weekend in honor of CJ. But I don't know what other interest he has outside of football. Like a lot of guys get into coaching because financially it's great, but a lot of star players typically don't because they made so much money. They don't need it, you know? Like some of the best coaches that maybe played in the league or had a cup of coffee in the league, like they didn't get rich from being a professional. They got rich from being coaches. Barbarossa writes in, Beast is really coming on. What do you think his war is? The Q score for Beast continues to go up. You're right. JJ says, we forgot Mosley bailed on us for a whole season. What a leader. I mean, at the time, we're really going to kill him for skipping the Adam Gase 2020 year. I mean, really? He came back and his teammates voted him team MVP. Like, he had every right at that time to make whatever decision he wanted to make. Plus, did he really miss out on anything? Rather, his body be fresh for when he came back. Unfortunately, he came back in 2021 and the team wasn't ready to win yet. But he oversaw the defensive turnaround. He's a big reason why they were as good as they were in 22 and 23. He's a second-team All-Pro in 2022. Quincy was first-team All-Pro in 2023. That doesn't happen without CJ Mosley. All right, last chance here. Phone line's slow. So we could end the show a little earlier than normal if people don't call in. With that said, I hope more of you do call in because I'm having fun. And this is a fun show. A show where you never know what might happen. You know? Because as a wise person once said, thinking is overrated.
You know, thinking is overrated.
So we just do around here. Jets officially signed the thicker kicker, Anders Carlson, released yesterday for those who missed it. So Harrison Mevis will compete with Caden Davis for the starting kicker job. And we'll see. I'm a little concerned. I said it yesterday. I'm a little concerned with the fact that there's a chance both our punter and kicker are guys that maybe have never kicked in the NFL before. There's a lot of risk involved in that. Jason writes in, guys like Glenn earned money both on and off the field, but coaching is just in their blood. CJ is the same way. Maybe. CJ was a great leader, but a lot of times great players don't always want to coach, so we'll see. More of your calls right now. Jets Jesus is on the line. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
What's going on, man?
Chilling, getting ready to head out in a few. I missed the beginning of the show, but I wanted to tune in because I saw you were still live, so I figured I would try to catch it, and I'm glad I did.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to see that that CJ Mosley retired a Jet. That makes me happy. I do question if he ever really lived up to the big expectations that we had when we signed him. Not to say in any way that I'm unhappy with him at all. I was really stoked that he became a Jet. Really stoked with him as a Jet. Just kind of ended up being more excited about him as a leader and really what he was able to do for the players around him and really be able to hold together a lot of the defenses and make the team better. But it wasn't necessarily exciting plays and things like that really were part of his career that I thought were going to be the case when we signed him. But just because expectations were different doesn't mean that the outcome and what he was able to achieve with the team aren't worth celebrating.
100%. He was a really good player. I like the first 3 quarters of his Jet career, though, he was so dominant that I don't know if we ever saw that version of CJ again. But I mean, he was really good for a while. Good leader, called the defense, was a second-team All-Pro in 2022. Great leadership, put guys in the right spot. I think that was a big issue this year, communication on defense. He was the guy with the green dot. Sherwood was good, but he was learning, right? It was his first year fully playing. Mosley had been there, done that forever.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we were coming off of Bart Scott. And one of my favorite players, the Hitman.
Yeah, David Harris is one of my favorite Jets. One of the nicest Jets I've ever interacted with, too, when I was walking into Houston's on Long Island at the Roseville Field right after the Jets got Favre in 08. David Harris happened to be there with some Jets, and he was the nicest human being ever. Great dude.
That's cool. That's great to hear because, yeah, like I said, David Harris, one of my favorites. I got a jersey from, I have a jersey of his. And definitely good memories with those teams. But yeah, coming off of those dominant linebackers, there were such huge parts of the team, coming into CJ. And CJ is just, he's his own dude. And like you said, early on, he did make a lot of great plays and had some more exciting stuff going on the field. But those were, early Jet days and of course, Raven days. But still, great Jets player for sure. And happy he did make the decision to retire a Jet and that he's been working with Quincy and hopefully, he'll be helping out Sherwood and maybe we'll see him like around some camps and that kind of stuff. And he'll stick around the team because that's always nice to see.
100%. Jets Jesus, excellent call. I got you down in the raffle for one.
Thanks, brother.
Jets Jesus checking in. Now, Gary was on the line, but he dropped out. I was excited to talk with Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your super chats. Kyle Clifton is in the raffle for 2 with this one. Thank you, as always, Kyle, for your support. If I'm CJ Mosley, I'm taking a break, enjoying family. If his off year due to COVID was collectively bargained, then what can you do? Yeah, I mean, and the Jets didn't have to pay him for that year. It's not like he stole money from the Jets. Like, his contract just told over. And let's not forget, guys, CJ Mosley a year ago took a pay cut to stay with the Jets. Otherwise, he would have been released for cap reasons. He took a pay cut. Now, ultimately, the Jets are going to pay for that contract because they're going to have dead money next year to deal with from it because they split it up over 2. But, I mean, it's not a massive amount of money. It's just ideally you don't have it. But it is what every team's got dead money. But CJ was a damn good Jet. I have nothing but positive things to say about the guy. And he was on the show, too. So maybe I'm a little biased in that regard because he was awesome. But I think he was a good Jet. Wish him well. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you're doing and point.
He's pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. Garrett Box, he point at you. Garrett Box, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. I point.
What's up, Jake? I didn't want you to end the show, so I called in. I don't have a lot. Oh, can you hear me? Do I sound?
I
okay?
hear you. Are we just gonna gloss over the braids that being back? That's big.
The braids are back. The braids are back. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. I may have to drop off at any minute. I just didn't want you to end the show. You said you had no callers, so I was going to call in to extend the show. But then Judge Jesus called in, so I was like, all right, well, you got a caller.
I see.
Yeah. I as far as Mosley. It's weird because Mosley really only played 3 seasons with the Jets. I know he was there for like 6 years or 5 years. 6? 5?
5.
But
yeah.
He really only played 3.
19,
right? I mean,
21, 22.
Yeah, he's
23.
there a while.
Yeah.
Last year was he? I don't know, and you're probably going to correct me, but was he the second longest tenured Jet last year?
Yes, because remember, other than the long snapper, only Quinnen Williams and CJ Mosley were brought in by Mike McCagnon. Everyone else was a Joe Douglas acquisition.
Is he a Hall of Famer for what he did mostly with Baltimore?
I don't think so. We looked at it before. I think he's in the Hall of Very Good.
I missed the beginning of the show. Okay, the Hall, but he's on the ballot, but he doesn't get in, kind of thing.
Yeah, like he was good, but he was never a first-team All-Pro. He was a second-team All-Pro 5 times. I mean, he was really good, but I feel like to be a Hall of Fame linebacker, you got to be someone who's been like a multi-time first-team All-Pro. Like Patrick Willis.
CJ never, not 16, 17, those years, he never made any All-Pro first teams? Oh, he's second team?
Yeah.
He never made a first team?
Never.
Interesting. Okay. I just assumed one of the years. He was so good for those 5-year span with Baltimore. I figured one of the years he made it, but I guess not. Yeah, and as far as JJ, I love JJ. Like, you guys wanted to tank in 2020, and your best player on defense wants to sit out. Isn't that a good tanking piece? I'm not even killing him, right? Like I hate Kyrie Irving, but I've never got on Kyrie for not playing in the bubble. It's your choice. You don't want to play in the bubble? You don't have to play in the bubble. Like, they gave him an option to sit out. He sat out. Why? I mean, and especially in a year where even if he played every snap, how many more games were the Jets actually going to win that year? And did you want him to win any more games? Because we wanted Lawrence that year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love you, JJ, but
is that the JJ
for sitting it? JJ in the chat said something about sitting out, didn't he?
He did,
But
I'm asking.
Am I confused?
Right, but I'm asking, is that like the JJ that calls into the show? I don't know.
Oh, I just assumed that it was. Was it not?
No, it's a different JJ. There we go.
Different JJ. Okay. What is JJ's name in the chat typically?
I don't know. That's why I was asking.
I don't see him in the chat much. Yeah. All right. My bad. JJ, don't kill Mosley for sitting out. It was his right to sit out. He chose to sit out. And it was, I mean, we ended up with Zach Wilson, but if I would have told you that year we were going to get the number 2 pick, you would have said, okay, we would have had Fields, which the whole thing is kind of poetic justice. In the end, we end up with Justin Fields, who we should have just took, I guess, in 2020. It's kind of strange how that worked out. Josh Fields, too. Josh.
Yes, but here's the thing: if they had taken Fields, he would not be a Jet right now. Currently, like he would not still be the Jet quarterback to this day if they had drafted him in 21. They would have moved on.
Probably. The whole offense would have been different because, like, Zach has wheels. He does. He just doesn't use them. Right? Like the Mets, when they played the World Series, they had this guy, Timo Perez. They said he was the fastest guy in baseball, but he couldn't steal bases. So it's like, all right, I mean, he can score from second and stuff like that, but he can't steal bases, and he's the fastest guy in baseball. That was like Zach Wilson. He had great legs, but he just couldn't run. It's like, he can escape still a little bit, but like he doesn't ever take off. He took off like one time in the Jacksonville game his rookie year. It looked great. It just like didn't run. It's like I never understood why they couldn't get. I'm not saying be like Fields, but get Zach to use his legs more, extend some plays, convert some third downs with your legs. He had the legs to do it, just he never did.
I think it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of this.
Yeah. But it's like it's kind of like in basketball. If your 3-pointers aren't going down, get to the hole, get layups, get to the foul line, see the ball go in, get some confidence, right? Like if you're completing 52% of your passes, like Zach Wilson typically does, start running, make the defense respect it. Maybe that'll open up other things. Like do the little things, get the confidence going in other ways, get a couple of first downs, see him move the chains, and then maybe you'll get in a rhythm. I don't know. He's
just not good.
I don't want to.
He just wasn't good.
Trying to get water out of a stone here. It's not going to work. He's not any good. Is he going to be the second string quarterback on Miami?
Yes.
Because that means he's probably going to have to play. I would just play my boy at that point. You can't put Zach Wilson in a game.
He's the backup, and
it's
crazy to me.
Martians are pointing missiles at the world, and they're going to blow it up unless you win a game. And your only choices are Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers. Who are you going with?
I mean, I'm probably going with Quinn because there's the mystery of, hey, maybe he's good. I already know what Zach Wilson is. He stinks.
That's what I said. Just start preparing for the end of the world, and I'm going to put Quinn Ewers in. Like who knows? I'll just go with Quinn. I'm flying in New York today. My flight gets in around 10. I have a 5 o'clock, 5:15 flight, something like that. But I'm flying in today.
Let's go. Gary and the Big Apple.
Jets Jesus wants to be on with me. You want to put him in?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what this is, but
I don't either. But if Jets Jesus wants to talk with Gary, we'll make it happen. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Jets Jesus?
Pretty well. How are you?
Good, doing doing good. I wanted to hop on and chat with you a couple times, but we haven't really aligned. But yeah, no, I enjoy a lot of your takes, so I figured it would be fun to come on. It would become. I don't agree with all of them, but I enjoy a lot of them. Although some of them I do agree with. So, and some of them I agree with up until a point. So that's always fun to it's always fun to have that middle ground where I'm like, I wouldn't go that far with it, but I understand where you're coming from. So what I was
appreciate that. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. What I was going to throw out where you guys were talking about Zach and running and that kind of stuff. And this is if I remember correctly, but didn't he hurt himself running either in a preseason game or an early game? And then there was like, oh, we're going to try to have him run like a little bit less. And there was like that kind of whole thing that happened.
You're right. He got hurt. Remember, we thought he tore his ACL in the first preseason game against the Eagles, I believe was the team in 2022. And he missed the first 3 games of the season that year.
Yeah.
But the Jets had the week 4 bye. His first game back was week 5 against Pittsburgh. You're right. He definitely was going to make a conscious effort to stay in the pocket more after that. So that definitely had some to do with it, Jets Jesus. But there were still times when he had open lanes and he just wouldn't run. Like there was the game against the Chargers. I'll never forget it because I was in the stands and had a great view of the all 22 angle. Like he had so much space. He just needed to tuck it and run, and he got scared and then just threw a bad pass to Michael Carter who couldn't catch it. There was so many examples of him just being afraid and having no confidence to just read and react. He just couldn't do it.
Totally. And I definitely was not going to be trying to make excuses for him. I was going to more go from a coaching angle and generally an overall perspective angle of it's interesting because I believe if I remember correctly, being able to kind of scramble around and make throws was part of his game at BYU. And then that kind of getting changed up a bit in the pros is an interesting thing with him as compared to how other quarterbacks, and I don't really want to make this about Zach Wilson and really just an idea of running quarterbacks and then how that gets balanced out, where now we've got somebody like Fields that we know coming in is definitely somebody who you want to push them, you want to support their running and not be something that gets held back and we know it right away. While still encouraging them to pass when it's available and be able to make those plays. And it's kind of interesting to see how different players get handled in different ways as far as how that goes and then how different coaches, Aaron Glenn said that he's going, we're going to let Fields play quarterback. And that will be, some coaches that might mean, oh, we're going to make them a pocket passer. But we know that that's not going to be the case with Fields because one of his hugest assets is his legs. So it's really, we're going to kind of again, this is coach speak stuff, but let him be himself. And it's hey, throw when you want to throw. We're not going to hold you back on your throwing. But also, we know you run, so run it, and we're going to set you up well to do so.
Yeah. I agree with most of what.
Okay, good.
He's got a delay. That's the issue here.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I'm getting this pop-up on my screen that says I have performance issues.
Hey, put the porn away and call back in, all right? You give us a call back.
I'm not going to make a performance issues joke. I will leave that to the chat.
Jets Jesus, well done. A second call for Jets Jesus. Put him in the raffle a second time. He added to the show with that one. Yeah, Gary, restart the StreamYard. You had a delay there. We were battling through, but I think it was getting worse as your call was going on. So, it's obviously not the first time you've dealt with some performance issues. And we'll bring it back on. John writes in, Gary the GOAT. Thomas with a super chat. Mosley deserved to play in a playoff game for us, but never got to. He was a true captain. Amen. He's one of those guys, man, that you really wish got a chance to play on a team that was good. That wasn't just good briefly, like in 2022, but actually made the playoffs. Bilal Powell's another one of those guys, right? Drafted by the Jets, played his whole career with the Jets. Got drafted the year after they were in the AFC Championship game for the second year in a row. Never got to be in a playoff game. Paul Taxter with a super chat. Thank you, Paul Mosley. Great player. As always, great show. Thank you for the great content. Paul gifting a membership. So Paul's in our raffle now for 2. We're counting the $5 super chats today. A little Asmaniac appreciation during the slow time. And if you're tuning in late, I saw we just had a viewer spike for whatever reason. CJ Mosley signed jersey in honor of him calling it a career, announcing his retirement. We'll raffle that away at the end of the stream here. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. He says, you people aren't paying attention. Zach Wilson is definitely leading the Finns to a championship. We're Jet fans. Zach Wilson being good would be the biggest surprise of my life, right? Like, I'm not shocked about Darnold. I didn't think he'd play as well as he did last year, obviously. But, like, I always thought Sam was failed more by the Jets than the other way around. And I'm not exonerating Darnold. He also had moments where he stunk. But I never felt like Darnold was put in the best spot, right? Never gave him weapons. They get him Adam Gase. Like, enough said. I always just thought Sam was better. And that proved to be true. If Zach Wilson goes somewhere else and is good, that'll be shocking to me. I just don't see it. I don't think he play. Johnny Boy is on the line. Johnny Boy, I know you celebrated a birthday the other day, so first time you've called in since. Happy belated, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Jake, man. How you been, man? I've been watching the show still, man. Playing in the background. I've just been crazy with work, man. So keep doing your thing, man. I don't know how you're doing it with such little Jets news that's going on, man, but you're doing it, bro. So keep killing it out there.
Thanks, man.
The CJ Mosley stuff, Cap, right? Do you think he goes into the Jets Ring of Honor? Right? Do you think he ends up?
I don't think so.
There? Right?
No. Look at the players that are in there and who's not. Like, he was a very good Jet, but he played only 5 years in total. Because 2020 he didn't play, he obviously got hurt this past year, which cost him another year. 2019 he barely played because he got hurt in the opener. He just didn't play here long enough. When he was out there, he was a very good player, but they didn't win with him here. Right? It's not his fault, but they didn't win with him. So, like, it once again, if Kyle Clifton is not in the Ring of Honor, if Mo Lewis is not in the Ring of Honor, you can't put CJ Mosley in.
So then he's pretty much in that realm with the Bilal Powell, Kachri, the whole nine, and all of those guys.
Well, let me ask you this. Bart Scott was a really good Jet, too, was on teams that were really good. He's not in the Ring of Honor. He was a free agent signing from the Ravens, right? Like, Bart Scott is more of a case to go in the Ring of Honor than CJ.
True. But how long did Bart play for us? A couple years compared to
09 to 12, right? So 09, 10, 11, 12. So that's 4 years. CJ Mosley played 5, right?
Yeah,
it's close.
Yeah. Close. And then the last thing in regards to CJ Mosley, so with him doing what he did with the two linebackers in Quincy, right? And oh my God, I can't even think of the other linebacker right now that we just signed.
Sherwood.
Yeah, there you go. Do you think he stays in some type of coaching role? And if so, what would it be? And would you put him in?
So if he wants to coach, sure. You offer him, I'm sure, like a summer coaching internship, see if he likes it, get his feet wet, help out the linebackers. Leon Washington has done that. We saw it last summer. Antonio Cromartie was on the Jet staff doing that. I don't know if CJ wants to coach, though. We know he was a great leader and he was basically a player coach, but he's made a lot of money. He just retired. Maybe he wants to just take the year off from football and do something else, spend time with his family, whatever.
100%, man. Well, hey, Jake, keep doing your thing, brother. Appreciate the happy birthday wish on there and everything. And hey, man, hope to see you soon again, bro. So you going to that Badlands thing?
I'm going to try and make it. I'm coming back from Vegas, so it's going to depend on some flights and some logistics there.
Oof.
I know.
Yeah, that'd be tough. All right, brother. Keep doing your thing, man. Appreciate
Johnny Boy, appreciate you, man. Good call. Happy birthday again. Hit the like button if you guys haven't. How many likes we have right now? 128. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. I know we can. Comments, questions, super chats. I am working hard, multitasking here, putting the list of names together for our CJ Mosley sign raffle at the end of the show. Excited to give that away to one lucky listener. If you want in, all you need to do is gift the membership or send in a $5 super chat or higher, and we will enter your name. More memberships you gift, obviously, the more chances you have to actually win. Ladies and gentlemen, the real job coach is on the line. The people's job coach. Coach Nick Shine. Nick, how we doing?
Jake, I felt bad for you today because somebody promised they would call in while they're out for a walk. So I felt it.
Nick, I feel bad for all of us because we can't hear you. You sound like a robot. Could be the AirPods, could be the great outdoors, could be both. But either way, when Nick Shine calls back in, we will get to the bottom of it. In the meantime, Black Gypsy is here with a membership that he has gifted. That went to listener Matthew Savage. Black Gypsy, appreciate you. Mike Dems, he has gifted a channel membership. Mike, thank you very much. That goes to listener Treventures. So he's in our raffle as well. We only got 7 memberships today on the show. People have been using the super chat option. Charleston Jetsrib writes in, I'm a little behind, but I don't think Bobby goes on walks. Also, wash your hands after you poo. Looks like pink eye. These are some strong accusations that you're making against Robert Woodruff here, Charleston. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know. And if Bobby wants to call back and defend himself against you, he is more than welcome to. We are a free speech show. We give everyone the right to their defense. But this is a strong accusation that you're making here, Mr. Rube. Jordo says, I put in a $5 super chat. I didn't cut the line. I might have missed it, Jordo. Oh, you're right. I did miss it. 6 rings clearly has no friends. Well, it was a delayed zinger on 6 rings, but you got it in. Jordo, I apologize. I missed it. It was sandwiched in between Devin and Daz, their membership and super chats. Ladies and gentlemen, Edward has been a member for 8 months. He's just letting us know because there's no comment attached to this. Edward, write in something you meant to say if you meant to say anything. Black Gypsy, speak of the devil. He's back with more memberships. He's gifted 5. Ran with the underrated darkness, Xavier Poe, Danny, Haskell 420, all receiving memberships. A lot of chances to win this CJ jersey here coming up. I will stay on a little while longer. Black Gypsy says, Jake, we is my Fields jersey. So let me get this straight, Black Gypsy. If you were to win the CJ Mosley jersey, you would prefer to not win that, but instead the Justin Fields jersey. We can make that happen if you win. We'll work something out. Big fella says, I love Bobby, but his eye looks like Amber Heard was playing Tooth Fairy. That's why all the Bobby truthers out there need to stop being selfish and do the, we want Bobby to be live forever. And be like, no, Bobby, do an hour or 2, but don't be looking at a screen for 12 hours because that's only going to make his Amber Heard eyes even worse. His pink eye is only going to get worse. If it wasn't for Nick Sean and I, Bobby Midnight would be like, dead on the side of the road right now. Everyone's telling him to do 24-hour shows. Have you seen what that does to his health? He needs a job. That's what we're trying to do here. Dave Briggs said it best. We believe in achievement. We believe in achievement. Period. All right, more of your calls right now. Do we have Coach Nick Shine with us? Hello, Nick.
There was no wind at this park until you brought me on, and the wind just kicked up. Is this better?
You sound pretty good. Yeah, whatever it is, you figured it out.
So yeah, I found a little spot where it's blocked. I was saying before, I know everyone was disappointed today because somebody promised they would call in out for a walk. I'm out for a walk. I figured let me pick up the slack and call in right now.
How are your eyes? Do you also have an eye that looks like someone farted in it?
I do. That's why I'm wearing the glasses. It's horrible.
I see.
It's rough to look at. The reason I called in, I heard a discussion. How many? I could only think of 2 off the top of my head: Curtis Martin and Kevin Mawai. How many guys are in the Ring of Honor that we didn't draft?
Don Maynard, technically, too.
Okay. But, I mean, it seems like more of it's like a lifelong Jet thing. Now, Mosley was nice, but that's a special honor, man. You spend half of your career here, you don't win. I don't think there's any argument for putting him in the Ring of Honor, especially when Marvin Jones, Mo Lewis, David Harris, Kyle Clifton aren't in. And some of those guys are like record holders in Jets books. Mosley was a nice player, but it never equated to W's or success anywhere.
I agree with you. And it's not to knock Mosley. It's just to kind of pump up how the Jets have a very high standard for their Ring of Honor, which I think is cool. Like I prefer that than the latter.
Yeah, there's lifelong Jets that aren't even in there yet, so you can't just put anybody in there just for the sake of putting them in there because it's the new thing to do. Like as soon as they retire.
100%. I agree. Look, he could have a role with the organization, but like Lavernius Coles is not in the Ring of Honor, for example, but he's involved with like the Jets alumni group that hangs out with season ticket holders and sponsors and all that.
Yeah. It's there's got to be a certain level of prestige. Now, I know we're not a prestigious organization throughout the years, but if you have Mo Lewis, who's, one of our top sack getters of all time, I think he's at 57.5 or something. I think he's top 10. He's not in there. Like, what has Mosley done to even be considered for that other than people like him?
That's the big thing. People like him. And for a lot of people who are younger, he's one of the better players they've seen because of how bad the team has been, right? Like Connor Long doesn't remember David Harris, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
Sad.
But Connor's studious enough to look it up, right?
I'm not saying that he's arguing for Mosley to be in the Ring of Honor. I'm just saying, like, if you're like a big Jet fan and you're like under the age of like 20, like you don't remember the Rex years already. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, enjoy your walk because your internet is a little choppy right now.
Thanks. Sorry, buddy.
Nick Shine, everybody. More of your calls right now. John is on the line. Hello, John. Are you the John that has said Gary's the GOAT?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to introduce you to your GOAT right now. Gary joins us. Gary.
What's up, Gary?
I appreciate that. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's very rare you get positive feedback.
Big fan.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, John. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I called just to talk about the comments on Aaron Glenn and his abrasion with the media. And I don't understand why Han got so pissed off. It's very parasocial of him. Like, you act like Samini can't, fight for himself. Like, all these people are grown-ass human beings that do this for a living. If they can't handle just a guy deflecting or just wanting better questions, then I don't understand why you're in the business. It's a people business. If you weren't able to take callers in that were being abrasive towards you, JJ, etc., then where would we be? Where would the Jake Asman show be? Where would be any of these reporters? They wouldn't be in the building. So, I don't understand why to take the time and the effort and the breath to get all worked up like he's in the room. And it's like he didn't say anything to you. He didn't call out your name, nothing personal towards you. So why are you getting so like a white knight, you know what I mean? Like a guy trying to defend this girl that, poor damsel. And it's like, dude, they're reporters. Like they can take it. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
They are shit talkers at their core. You know what I mean? They'll take it out in their writing, in their pieces, which they have on previous regimes. So we're going to see how it goes. But that's why I wanted to call. I just didn't understand what the workup was for. It seemed unnecessary, and I don't know what the bone to pick is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. Maybe just slow news day. I can't get inside his head. I just think, if you listen to more of Aaron Glenn, it's not an act, and that's who he is. And it's not really combative. It's just not as buddy as Salah, for example. It's ask good questions, get good answers. And ultimately none of it really matters. He's got to win games. No one cares. Andy Reid is super nice with the media. He's a great coach. Who cares? Bill Belichick was a dick, but it didn't matter because he was winning Super Bowls. So it's how you are at the podium really doesn't matter if you're a good football coach. And ultimately, Robert Saleh was a great human being, but he wasn't a good enough football coach. So how he handled the media didn't have an impact on the Jets' wins or losses, but his personality, maybe that we saw at the podium, was a reflection on hey, he was a great DC, but maybe wasn't the best leader of men as the head coach. And Glenn, I think he's a really good leader. Well, hopefully it now translates to being a really good head coach.
Yeah.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Yeah.
Because I agree. Glenn, he played for Parcells. He loves Parcells. He was a Parcells guy, right? And Parcells was a no-nonsense. You give me a stupid question, I'm just going to dismiss you. I'm not even going to credit it, right? And Saleh was a no-nonsense guy too, but he was more nice and polite, and he would entertain the stupid question to a degree. Aaron Glenn's just going to dismiss it, right? And it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic. I mean, he played in New York, so he knows what he's walking into. He's here for a very long time, so he knows the way the New York media is. But it's going to be interesting after a bad loss or whatever, when he's frustrated, when he really doesn't feel like dealing with the stupid, how these press conferences go. Because he's not going to be like Salah. He's not going to sit there and kind of entertain the questions. But, oh, fair question. He's going to dismiss you like Parcells did. So it's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I feel like Salah is a lot with the pressers. It's like, you know, he's buying on being the people's person to buy more time since things aren't working out per se. So it's a whole lot of, you know, the whole accountability speeches and, you know, giving you the buzzwords that everybody wants. But, you know, Glenn, it's like, I feel like he understands he's at the point where he doesn't need to fluff anybody anymore. And it's just, we just got to get done what we need to get done. You know, there's none of that. There's no, you know, like, I need to make you guys buy into me. It's more or less, you'll see when you see it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the thicker kicker this year. That's going to be great, you know. So it's going to be a good year.
Let's go, John. Call back more.
Glenn
we need more John
me
calls.
I'm just always busy, man. I try. I hit you up on Instagram, though, a lot.
I appreciate it, John.
Gotcha.
How about that, Gary? A man who thinks you're a goat.
That is touching. You never really get any positive feedback from the chat, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like in the chat, you got 40,000 subs or 42,000 now, whatever you have, and then you got 500 people watching live, and you got 10 people in the chat. That doesn't represent the community as a whole, right? You got 10 people going off in the chat bashing me, but that's 10 out of 42,000 subs. That's just the vocal minority. That doesn't represent the.
You think of my subscriber base, if we ran a poll and everyone had to vote in it, do you agree with Gary's views? You think people would agree with you more than disagree?
Ooh, if you loaded them up with truth serum, like and you put them on a lie detector, I think a lot more. I don't know about a majority, but a lot more than you think would agree with me.
There's no way the vast majority of my subscribers would agree. I don't know. Maybe we'd have to be clear what views. Are we talking about Jet views? Or are we talking about your views on like women that they shouldn't be allowed to vote?
I'm not saying a majority. What I'm saying is at least at a minimum, a very healthy and strong minority of people. We're talking 30-35%, right?
You think you'd get 35% saying they agree with that? There's no way.
If you put them on truth serum and put them on a lie detector test, where like you got electric shock if you lied, yeah, I think a lot more people than you think would agree with me. I'm saying maybe not half, maybe not a majority, but a very, very healthy minority of people, a sizable minority of people would agree with me.
Interesting.
And the moon landing, like when you ask the question, do you think the moon landing was faked? Only about 10% of people say yes. If you rephrase the question to, do you have questions about this moon landing story? Then it goes to like almost 40%, like 35, 38%, depending on the poll, right? So just how you phrase the question changes the answer you're going to get.
I see.
Is that it?
Now there's a gas station over here. I'm gonna go get some pizza and see if they have any butter to put on it.
What a call from Gary today, huh? God. Kevin with a super chat. We got you down to the raffle, Kevin. I'm a Jets fan first, but I believe Zach Wilson will not be a journeyman. He'll be a starter. He had so many flashes of greatness. We as fans killed his confidence. We eat our own, I guess. He didn't play well, man. The fan base tried to support him. I used to be called a Zach Wilson truther. Think about how crazy that is. Because all I said was we got to be patient with him when they were winning in 2022, but he wasn't playing great statistically. I was like, well, they're winning. He's not turning the ball over. Like, let's give it more time. He got hurt. He didn't get to play the first couple of weeks. Coming off I tried to come up with every excuse to buy more time. We got to be fair, though. He had every opportunity. It's not like Darnold where he never had weapons or he never had a good defense or a kicker. The only reason why they won 7 games is because of how good that defense and how good Zerline and Morstead were in 2023. For all the, but Rodgers only won 5 games. So yeah, let's add some nuance to that conversation. He couldn't play. That was the problem. I think I do think he got in his head by the end of it. He had no confidence and all that, but we tried, man. He just wasn't good. I don't know why the Dolphins signed him, because I think when Tua inevitably gets hurt and he has to come in and play, I mean, their season's done. Couple more calls, then we wrap. Adam is next. Hey, Adam.
Hey. So Gary doesn't need me to defend him, but I will say something that I appreciate about Gary, that he's got strong opinions on it, but he doesn't come in to make anyone change their mind. And I think we owe him that respect too. He's going to, he's an independent thinker. He's going to think the way he does, but I think he also respects everyone else's independent thoughts. So he's just giving ideas. You don't have to agree with him, but don't try and change his mind either. I think we owe him that kind of respect.
I like that. Now, speaking of respect, Adam, out of respect to you, I don't want you to be on screen when I have to do this right now. So stand by. We're going to get back to your call. But I'm in that kind of mood today. Old time's sake, Hawk writes in, Zach carved up the Texans for 30 last time we saw him. Actually, no. The last time we saw Zach was the week after that game, Hawk. The Jets went down and took on the Miami Dolphins. And they got destroyed. And Zach Wilson played terrible before he then got destroyed and left that game. So, Hawk, it's been a while, but we will see you later, you Zach Wilson truther.
Now look what you've done. Hawk, no more protection from the ASMANIACS. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
It's been a while since we had Hawk in the hole. Don't worry, Hawk. We're not going to put you in there that long. You'll be back in 5 minutes. Adam, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, all good. So, yeah, it's great that Mosley retired. I'm retired as a Jet, I'm assuming. I don't think he went back to Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless he signs maybe like a one-day contract to retire as a Raven, but I don't know if he would do that. I think he's comfortable just retiring as a Jet.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder how much of a role his influence had on Sherwood re-signing instead of Sherwood going anywhere he wanted to go with the production he had.
Well, I think Sherwood, I mean, he would tell you that Mosley was a huge part of him becoming the player he was, and I think the Jets saw that on tape and they wanted to pay him. Like I think the Jets valued Sherwood. Like there was a thought, oh, they didn't draft him, develop him, maybe they want their own guy there and not want to spend money there, but no, they paid him. I think it was the right move.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he was a great player for us, considering we were in this terrible era while he was playing, and I don't think that was his fault, but he worked really hard. I mean, we gave him a lot of work too, because our offense would just not stay on the field much, so we definitely gave him a lot of work. Some people just like putting in the hard work. I think he was a hard-working dude.
I agree.
I think he was a good influence, good guy in the locker room. Clearly, if we want to give him credit for Sherwood staying and for others potentially staying, I think that's awesome. And I hope we get more players like that. I think it's kind of a rare find, and I hope that, I think the Ring of Honor situation is a tough one. I do think that if he were to stay and get into coaching, I think there's a path for him in terms of his overall contributions to the organization, considering, you have other folks like Lavernius Coles and that are probably waiting in line too for an opportunity. But I think his impact on the team will be something that we'll look very fondly on. And it's a shame we couldn't give him a playoff game, all things considered. But I think we'll miss him. But I'm glad that he's hanging it up as a Jet. I think that's great, and I think we could all take a page from him and work hard in everything that we're doing.
100%. I hope that I hope if he wants to get into coaching, if that's what he wants to do, it's with the Jets. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think is actually quite important is the fact that Glenn coming in as a former player and a coach also will fill some of that void too, with his presence in the locker room going away. Sometimes you wonder, like, hey, who's going to be that veteran voice? But when you're a former player, I think there's definitely some gravitas to what you're saying, and I think perhaps that also will help. So, but I hope Mosley sticks around. I hope he can be a presence. Maybe he can do analysis, coaching, whatever. It's amazing when people feel like they fit in, they belonged as a Jet. I mean, not every free agent feels that way, or not every player feels that way. Think about those wide receivers that wanted out after one season of hardship. And then you look at the same individuals responding completely differently. So I hope we find more people like Mosley. I hope that is sort of a character model that we look for when we're looking at, folks that we're drafting or other free agents, because I think that is something that is priceless. And I think that, deserves some kind of bust. I don't know what that means, but anyway, Really, really happy that he's retiring with us, and that we're going to think very fondly of him going forward.
Yep, Adam, good call, man. Appreciate you. We got you down to the raffle for one. A couple people making this comment here. To me, it's semantics. Like, yo, Holmes, he didn't retire a Jet. He just retired. I mean, he retired, right? The team he most recently played for was the Jets. If he signs a one-day contract to retire as a Raven, then he retired as a Raven. I don't think he's going to do that. I could be wrong. I don't know. But it's semantics. The last team he played for was the Jets. He retired as a Jet. I think, didn't Darrelle Revis sign a one-day contract with the Jets at the end of his career? Nick, who else did that? Like, well, it's semantics. Who cares? John wants to know my top 5 all-time Jet free agent busts. I mean, off the top of my head, Le'Veon Bell, Tremaine Johnson. It's hard to narrow it down to just 5. Derek Mason has got to be on there, even though it's only like a 1-year deal, but still, I mean, they replaced Jericho Cotchery with him, and that was the beginning of the end of the Rex Jets, in my opinion. I mean, Dalvin Cook sucked, but like it was a 1-year deal. I'm trying to think of like the bigger contracts that were terrible. Like Corey Davis wasn't great, if we're being honest. I don't know if it was top 5. CJ Uzomah was bad. Good guy, but just wasn't that good. I got to think about this. This is off the top of my head. I mean, Tyron Smith, Dwayne Brown were terrible. Dwayne Brown, I mean, he had moments where he wasn't awful. Just his body broke down on him. Right, but they added him, out of desperation because Mekhi Becton got hurt. Tyron Smith was terrible. Mike Williams was terrible. We could just do this past year. Hassan Reddick should count. He doesn't because he was a trade, technically. Javon Kinlaw. A lot of these are 1-year deals, though, so I'm trying to find guys that had multi-year contracts. Neil O'Donnell has to be in there, right? Good job by Cactus Johnny, yep. Oh, Laken Tomlinson. Good call, Rick Kent. Yep. Laken was terrible. Carl Lawson, yeah, it's tough. He got hurt, though, right? I'm more trying to lump in guys that, like, the Jets signed, they played, and just weren't good. Like, Laken Tomlinson's a great example of that. Like, good guy. He played. He was durable, but he sucked. Chris Johnson. I mean, but he was like, these guys are at the end of their career 1-year deals. You know what I mean? Like, worst free agents ever. It's like if you invested multiple years in money in them and they were expected to play big roles. I put that player ahead of like Dalvin Cook, who sucked, but he was here a year. He didn't even make it through the year. They released him at the end of the year. I'll think about this. It's a good list. It depends on what your criteria is for how you weigh it. Anthony in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Let's go.
Thinking is overrated.
But gifting is not. Anthony in for 5. The 5 memberships he gifted went to Disturbed Nick, Zach Alford, Dano, Domino, Effecto, and NYC to SRQ. Shout out to Michael. That's who that is. Messaging with him about Tampa earlier. Looks like he's going to be joining us. Looking forward to that. We're nearing the end of the show here, so I got to get all the membership names. We got 5 more. Just saw this. Ryan McCarthy. Thank you, Ryan. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for the signed CJ Mosley jersey that I will give away to one lucky Asmaniac at the end of the show. He's in for 5.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Ryan, thank you. Your channel memberships went to Jets Worldwide, Fernando Sanchez, JC, Deshaun Whitaker, and from North Jersey. Alan Lazard, someone wrote in the chat. Yeah, I mean, he's still on the team, so maybe he could change the narrative, but that's been a bad free agent contract. Tim Tebow was a trade, not free agency. Blair Thomas was a draft pick, not free agency. Are we doing draft picks now? What are we talking about? Buster Screen stunk. Yep, that's not bad. Buster Screen's in that conversation. Reddick was a trade. Technically doesn't count. Tremaine Johnson, I think, might be number 1. Him or Le'Veon Bell. Tremaine Johnson was so terrible, though. And I've heard from people, he was such an asshole. Someone I know that's a business owner at a popular bar in Manhattan told me some stuff about him. Big-time douchebag, which doesn't surprise me. Mecole Hardman, I mean, I didn't even play a year. Plaxico Burress. Yeah, Plaxico. I mean, he actually had some really big-time games as a Jet. Like, I was at the game against the Chargers. He caught 3 touchdowns. Jets won that day. Met CC Sabathia waiting online to go into that game. And Plaxico replaced Braylon Edwards, who was one of my favorite Jets. Yeah, Plaxico. I mean, he only played a year, though, right? That's the thing. If we're just going to say, like, worst free agents, fine, he's in the conversation. You know, it's interesting. Someone wrote Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick was great for a year. Then it was the second contract with the Jets, right? He was on a one. They traded for him. This is Fitz is an interesting one because technically his career year with the Jets, he wasn't a free agent signing, right? He was a trade acquisition. It was when they extended him, then he sucked. So by technicality, I guess he wasn't a free agent though, right? Because he had played for the Jets, so he wasn't like a true free agent coming over from a different team. Rick Meyer, all for free agent signing. Yeah. I mean, I think Neil O'Donnell's got to be on the top 5. Like, just off the top of my head, O'Donnell's on the list. Tremaine Johnson and Le'Veon Bell both got to be on the list. That's 3 of the 5 right there. It has to be. They gave Neil O'Donnell a massive contract immediately off after that Super Bowl with the Steelers. Beastbreaker says Glenn Foley. That's a name from the past. Wasn't he a draft pick, though? Was he a free agent signing Glenn Foley? Glenn Foley might have been drafted by the Jets, though. Yeah, he doesn't count, Beast. He was a 7th-round pick in 94. Michael Vick, that doesn't count. He was a backup for Gino. J-Quest, yes, O'Donnell's on the list, but we all knew it was a terrible signing when it happened. True. Are we done discussing the Jet pain today? What are we doing? Worst draft picks ever? Here we go. Roger Vick, Zach Wilson, Dwayne Robertson, Vernon Golston. I don't think we need to torture people today. You guys get the point. Alan says Foley was a 2nd-round pick right at. It just said 7th-round pick when I Googled it real quick. Glenn Foley. His Pro Football Reference. Drafted by the Jets in the 7th round, 208th overall in 94. When was he a 2nd-round pick, Alan? That doesn't make any sense. You must be confusing him with someone else. D. Milner. God, Kyle Wilson. The worst. No one was worse than Kyle Wilson. You want to remember Kyle Wilson's Jet career? All I need to do is turn around. The worst. The worst. I could not stand Kyle Wilson. He sucked. That was such a bad pick. And I love Rex. The second Rex got control of making the personnel, that's when the downturn started to happen. And in an alternate universe, if Eric Mangini picked the players and Rex coached them, the Jets would have won a Super Bowl at some point. I truly believe that. Quentin Coples, Christian Hackenberg. Are we going to do every bad draft pick? Yeah, I mean, is that hot take? Not even a hot take if you really understand the logic. Christian Hackenberg is the worst draft pick in Jets history. It's not Zach Wilson. Because Hackenberg was a 2nd-round pick that was so bad, he never even appeared in an NFL game for anyone. It's not like he got a chance elsewhere. He was so awful that no team in the league gave him a chance to appear in a game. He joined the Eagles in the preseason after the Jets cut him the following year. Never made the team. He sucked in whatever the, UFL before the UFL was, whatever that league was. I mean, he was so awful, and he was a 2nd-round pick. That's a significant investment if you're a quarterback. 2nd-round picks, they play. They might not be great, but they get on the field. Geno Smith was a 2nd-round pick. And Jalen Hurts has won the Super Bowl. He was a 2nd-round pick. Like, that is the worst pick ever. The problem with Wilson was Wilson never should have played again after 2022. But because Joe Douglas couldn't get off his fat ass and sign a legitimate backup quarterback, which I screamed about the second they acquired Aaron Rodgers and screamed about the entire 2023 season, Zach never would have had to have seen the field again. All right. My blood pressure should not be going up this high on June 19th. All right. I'll save it for when we have our first disaster loss in the Aaron Glenn era. I can't do this reliving the Zach Wilson and worst draft picks. Kevin writes in, how long is the timeout? For 5 minutes, because Buster Skrine actually thought he was a great nickel corner. I mean, he got beat a lot, man. I don't have fond memories of Buster Skrine. He stunk. John says, accidentally rage baited. My bad. Yeah, it's your fault, John. Man. All right. Need to calm down here. It's June 19th. And I'm still doing a 2-hour and 10 show talking about the worst Jets draft picks ever and free agent signings. Here's what we're going to do. Let's do something nice for the people. All you guys that gifted memberships or sent in the super chats. Someone's about to win a signed CJ Mosley jersey. So I'm going to play a clip. After the clip plays, I'll be ready to roll with our raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by, because when we come back, it is raffle time.
Happy birthday to you.
Does he want regular style or does he want like heavy metal style? What do you want, Beast?
A little Anthrax mixture with Public Enemy going.
Can you do that? I don't know if I could do that, but I could go heavy metal or normal, whichever you want.
Hey, heavy metal with a little mixture of.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Since the live stream is going so well and so many people are watching, I don't know if you're aware of this, but my garbage man's birthday is next week. Can we get another show from you to honor him?
Shut up!
Happy birthday to Jerry. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! He likes Kevin James, doesn't he? He likes doing this too. This is his fun.
Oh, look at that.
Are you ready to go in?
Oh, yeah. It is almost that time, baby. I did see while I was putting the names together that JYB, who got us rolling with a $100 super chat at the start of the show today, he sent in another super chat saying, Jake, relax. We're going to change the narrative, especially with Mason Taylor this year. From your lips to God's ears, JYB, plus two more entries for you at the buzzer here. Big Country with the super chat. Thanks for the great content. Big Country, you got to call in with a name like Big Country. Appreciate your support. All right. I am nearly done here. I got all the names. Looks like we got 100 entries on the dot in this raffle. So, with that said, it is time for us to spin the Wheel of Champions.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go. All right. Screen share. Boom. Wheel on your screens. Everyone can now officially see it. It is time for someone in honor of CJ Mosley's career in the NFL, including an outstanding couple years with our New York Jets. Someone will receive this jersey right here. A signed CJ Mosley jersey. The winner is, we find out all together right now. Listener Eli Betts. Hey, congrats to Eli. He's on a roll. Last week, if you tuned into the show, he won a signed Garrett Wilson one-handed catch 8x10 photo that I sent all the way out to Colorado, where Eli lives. And looks like Eli's winning a signed CJ jersey. Eli, congratulations. Awesome Jet fan. Great supporter of the show. You deserve it, my friend. Got to get a frame for this thing, and it will look good in the man cave. So congrats to Eli. Thank you to everyone who supports the show. Once again, I can't thank you guys enough. In June, everyone's views are down if you look at all the content creators, and not a whole lot of news to talk about besides our kicking battle and bad Jet draft picks, I suppose. So you guys are the best. Calls have been awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Planning on going live again in the 4 p.m. hour. A lot of people are off from work today, so hopefully we get a bunch of calls from people who maybe normally can't call in. I'm looking forward to that. Again, thank you all for watching. My name is Jake Asman. Congrats again to Eli. Thank you to Matt O'Leary, who joined us at the beginning of the show. I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Jets, everybody. And congrats again to CJ on a great career. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to Times Square, where standing by is a good friend of the show, Nate, parentheses Nate. Hello, Nate.
Guys, how we doing? How we doing?
Nate, how are you?
Just got on. I kind of missed the beginning of it. How we doing? Yo, buddy, watch it.
Whoa.
Oh, he took one.
Oh my goodness.
You all right? Watch where you're fucking going, mate.
Man. Wait, hang on. I know you.
We're here in Times Square with Craig live. Don't worry, Matt. I know you took the bait. I know you thought I took him out again. Don't worry. It was a different guy. Mrs. Craig has her heart in her throat right now. Someone did try to help. Someone leaned over to try to help Craig and thought I really took this man out because I did come on the pedestrian walkway. I apologize, all pedestrians. We're on our way over to the Mets game.